Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
I'm Tyler.
We got returning guest host Derek. What's up, Derek?
What's up, sinners?
And this week we got a good episode for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I love when we get to talk about horror movies.
Right, we get our second forte into horror. Wait, second or third?
Second. What was our first?
Yeah. Well, I guess with Purge kind of counts.
Purge. Yeah. Well, Purge definitely counts.
Yeah, it's whatever. Anyways, we got another horror film, and obviously with October coming up, we're probably going to get a lot more of that. I'm super excited.
I'm definitely excited.
Tyler's excited. Nick looks like he's excited. I know Derek's a horror freak, so this is going to be good. We have Don't Breathe is what we saw this week. And I guess around the table, I'll start with Cinamen. Derek, what'd you think?
I liked it. It was pretty good. It definitely was intense and
very, very tense.
Very tense.
Don't Breathe is a very good title for the movie, I think.
I think they should have a subtitle underneath there that says "Be Deaf" because that's how I felt sometimes during the movie. Like some parts were so loud, I was like, "Oh, even my fucking bell's ringing."
See, I thought the sound design was really good.
It was good though because it was enough to distort you, like almost kind of like how they were in the movie, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But I guess I haven't seen a horror movie in theaters for a while, so I guess I just wasn't ready for the shock factor. But it most definitely was. It was pretty all right. I did have a few problems with it, little things here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty decent. I liked it.
Nick, your thoughts? What'd you think?
Yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. I think I saw it with Derek. It was a good time. There was, I think, a decent amount of people in the theater. I know it's making some good money, and I am okay with that. It looked right. You know, it looks like it deserved it. So yeah, absolutely had a good time. I actually did get my one jump out of the movies we watched was from this movie, and I hate to say it was like a weak ass, dog jumps up or something. Maybe that. I think it was in that movie.
Yeah.
It was in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Dog jumps up, scared the shit out of me. It was my one jump, and it got me, so I have to give it that. I enjoyed it.
Tyler, what'd you...
I loved it. I kind of, at the beginning, didn't think I was going to like it. The dialogue seemed a little stale. I didn't really buy the characters at first. But once the action happened, I was sold.
That's awesome. This is a Blumhouse film?
No,
this one's not?
it's the same people that did Evil Dead.
Dead, yeah. It's like the same director, same star, same producers. I think
so.
Sam...
It's Ghost House. Ghost House.
Yeah.
Sam
Ghost House
Raimi
did it.
produced this one as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, this looked really good. Now, is this more of like a scary movie or like suspenseful thriller? Where do you want to ballpark this one here?
Definitely,
I would say
thriller. Yeah, suspense.
Like, this is obviously not like some like hack and slash flick.
No,
or
it's not like
is
a
it?
slasher.
no,
slashing.
not a slasher.
Not a slasher by
Okay.
any means.
Is Stephen Lang, right, our bad guy for this one?
Yes,
Mr. Clawed Up Face from Avatar.
his face isn't looking much better in this movie.
Okay, well, now he's lost his
Got the
eyes,
glossy
right?
eyes.
Yeah, really.
Is he intimidating? Is he scary?
Oh my God,
You
yes.
wouldn't want to be those guys in that house.
No, God,
No, I was actually talking to, maybe it was Derek about this. He has his reaction. He's like a man from the military, right? He's like
okay.
a
So he's-
serviceman. Yeah, right.
Right.
So his reaction time to these, like, to being attacked is so quick sometimes that it impressed me.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess, first off.
Spoilers, big spoilers.
One scene, like, he kind of enters a doorway, like, gun first, gun drawn out
The
first.
blind man has the gun?
The blind man, right.
Okay.
Stephen Lang. And this kid with the hammer, like, next to the door frame, hits the gun, but his left hand comes over from the opposite side and wrecks this kid so fast that made it scary.
Is that the part we see in the trailer? Is that the kid that goes down?
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
There's three of them that win the house, right? The
Three
girl,
go in the
Yeah,
house.
there was
the
three
girl,
of
the
them.
kid from Goosebumps, and then the other
The
kid.
kid from Goosebumps, was he in The Killing as well? The TV show?
He might have been.
Which
He's
kid is
kind of
from
like a character
Goosebumps?
actor. He was in Lost.
He's in the Goosebumps
He's in
movies.
Goosebumps.
No.
Which one?
Or-
Which kid?
Maybe Billy Lynn's long halftime walk. Maybe it's that kid that was in The
No,
Killing.
which actor? Which
From-
actor was in Goosebumps?
The plain-looking kid.
Yeah,
the
the
kid that's like,
short-haired kid.
I don't know
The
about
kid
this,
that doesn't
guys.
even look like he belongs?
Yes, he doesn't. Exactly. He doesn't look like he belongs robbing houses. But I think that's because he was the one with the keys.
Yeah, I didn't get really his motive, though. I was like...
He
What did he
like,
get- did he get,
in
like-
my opinion, his motive was he liked the girl.
Oh, what? No, don't let no girl
I
talking to
I
Robin
figured
no
he
house.
liked the girl. I mean, that seemed pretty obvious for us. But I just didn't get, like, he didn't have a bad home life. He didn't look to be, like, in, like, need for money, I guess.
Because he loved her, so he wanted to be doing whatever she was
Damn,
doing.
this
Derek,
girl.
We're not breaking into houses for our wives. Let's just get that clear.
No, never doing that.
I don't suggest that. Women, you go break into houses if you want something. I'm not doing it.
There was a moment, though, in the movie, I think he said something about his father, like how he needed to be around for his dad. And that kind of gave me a sense of, like, maybe his dad's sick or something.
I thought that too, but
he never
didn't
mentioned
show
it.
anything. Right?
Yeah, I never
That's
mentioned
true.
or said anything about it, so I never knew.
No, like,
But-
quick, like, one line, like, oh, my dad's sick. I need this money. Okay, moving on with the story. We are going forward.
They were talking about leaving, and he's like, I can't leave because my dad needs me, or I need to help my dad
or something.
Yeah,
Typical,
and then
like,
he...
teenage rebellion bullshit. As soon as I can get out of here, I'm gone.
Yeah, she straight was like textbook teenage runaway, you know, like and she did. It sounded like it showed a little bit of her home life. It was pretty bad. So she's looking to get her and her little sister out.
I'm assuming
Her and her
just-
little sister. Yeah, how do you get your sister out though? Like without.
I kind of wondered that too. I guess the mom wouldn't be interested enough or would be poor enough to
Like-
not want to investigate.
Like,
into
Like,
what
oh,
they're doing.
well, at least that's one thing I don't have to worry about.
Right? Yeah, like two less mouths to feed, I suppose.
Yeah.
You don't find really anything out about the other guy, the third guy,
What?
Kevin,
the like the
Federline-looking dude.
Slipknot of the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is it that they broke into this house to steal exactly? Did money,
what do you guys wanna
jewelry?
The blind guy who lives in the house, his daughter was killed by, I believe, a drunk driver.
Okay, right. following.
And from the settlement, he got a lot of money,
Okay.
so they break in to steal his money.
So this is like world news or like local news that this guy has a lot of money?
It's like
From
history
this-
almost. Like
It-
I think they end up they get a tip or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
been a minute. They got a guy
But-
who plans the jobs, I think.
Yeah, they get the.
What is this like some little like heist crew?
So you remember?
Sort of.
So you
I
remember
mean-
in the collector when he goes and talks to that one guy about doing the job?
Yeah.
They have like that guy.
the Slipknot of the
Okay.
group. His
The
name is,
thieves.
they call him Money, and he comes up to them with the info, right?
Yeah, because he
I
goes.
I thought they got it from someone else.
he
Did
goes
they get it from the
to-
normal Joe looking dude?
the guy in the van. He goes to the guy in the van, I guess, to sell the stuff, and he's like, "Oh, this is crap money. You know, I should be getting more money." And he's like, "Well, if you want money, you got to steal money." And then he
Yeah.
was like, kind of pitching a fit, you know. And then he was like, "Well, come here, I'll tell you about this one guy I know." And then it ends up being the blind man's house.
Because it seems like
Okay. They get the tip off from the guy in the van.
Because it
Yeah,
seems
okay,
like the
he goes
normal
on
kid was really concerned with keeping it under certain conditions when they're robbing. So they don't take money. They take like under $10,000 worth of stuff to keep it under.
Like a felony charge.
Well, it's still probably a felony, but it's not as bad.
harsh.
Yeah.
Right. Like
So they're trying. If they get caught, they don't want as much jail time.
I liked that they played in like kind of the smarts of it. Finally, somebody didn't
Yeah.
do the like normal cliches of horror movies and stuff. So I did like that aspect. The
But-
normal Joe kind of knew his stuff.
Yeah, but then they hear the blind guy has like 300,000, which is, if anyone who's been to any kind of basic math class
Between
knows
three
that
of them, yeah, that's a lot.
300,000 is more than 10,000. So, so
It's
he-
just another zero, right?
And they find out he lives in the only the only house left on this block. Like
So like all his
the
neighbors
whole
are
street
like,
is empty,
It's-
rundown houses. Nobody lives there. He's the last one standing.
Could you call
Okay.
it like a suburb or subdivision of any kind? Because it looks like it's
didn't-
just like
it
a
didn't really show
street.
beyond his street. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it was like in development and then they stopped or whatever. Doesn't matter. He's the last one. There's probably like 10 houses, 8 houses, something.
Right. So they
Maybe
get
more.
in and they are unable to get out. Like are they physically unable to get out, or is this guy
Sort
like
of. There's
like ha my doors move? It's like a maze.
They
ha.
have to get in through a window on the second story because the bottom all the windows have bars, I think, except this one.
Okay. Like conveniently,
The
there's one
And
without.
the doors, I think, they just must have some kind of
Locked?
locks or something.
yeah.
well,
So-
they go.
but they know the alarm codes.
I was gonna say they go to like
How'd they get those?
The kid's dad.
The
the normal Joe's dad is a security guy.
Works for a security company.
has like a
And,
yeah.
So he has
that's
keys
how
to the house.
He gets them into these houses.
Yeah, and I guess I
The kid's
do remember
dad
they
is in
showed
it?
up.
No,
No,
the
no,
kid
no.
gets the stuff from his dad's.
Oh, I was like the kid's
info.
dad's helping him. What?
No.
Okay, all right.
He like jacks it out of his like file cabinet. And,
The dad that he said he has to stay there for.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. You have to stay there to
Well-
keep taking his keys and robbing places. I get
I
it.
think it's mutually beneficial. He robs the places and he
He's
takes
keeping
care of
his
his
dad's
dad.
business.
I don't
He's
know.
like,
I don't know.
son, I'm gonna leave my
Yeah,
keys
keep
on the dresser in my
Keeping his
room.
dad in business.
The dresser in my room are the keys that you probably shouldn't use for any advantage.
Well, he doesn't look
whatsoever.
like the type of kid that'd be robbing places anyway.
And I'm sure him and his dad probably have like a very, I guess, close relationship. Enough for him to get this shit all the time and not getting at least caught.
But,
Have they done some heist deals before the movie started? Like they have some experience with
you
this?
see one they do one before this house. Like that.
There's like
the
intro
story-
at the beginning of the movie part?
I think you're led to believe that they've done it before.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
this isn't the first
and
time.
to be surprisingly shocking, they're actually not horrible at it.
I was going to say,
Like,
so they've got
they
some
s-
experience, but they're not professional.
It's most definitely out of the three, you can definitely tell like the girl and the average Joe kid is literally like, I guess kind of like the brains, and then the other dude is just kind of like a
He's the wreck all. Like
he's
He's the Jeremy Renner from the town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah,
get
pretty
gonna
much.
get him in trouble.
Yes.
and he's the one that's always like, I guess causing more problems than he should. But yeah, the other two, like they work like clockwork. Like they right off the bat, they go in, they get in, and they start to they're counting, I think, for the alarm to be tripped, and one of them's counting, one of them's coming in and starting to deactivate the code. Like it was really cool to see how they all kind of function together.
Like each one's got their own little specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they trade off because there's a couple times I think the chick can do stuff that I think one of the other ones can do too, and so she hops in and does it too. But I mean, it's overall like you're pretty much shown like this group of individuals who are minorly successful.
They're minorly successful,
But-
and then their eyes get bigger than their stomach.
Yeah.
So they go,
Right.
they try to pull a job that they probably shouldn't be pulling anyway, because if they get caught,
Heavy time.
yes. Yeah.
Right.
And so they show up, and they can't get in. They actually have to break a window to get in.
And the dude hears this? Doesn't he?
No, he doesn't wake
No.
up.
He's not deaf too, is he?
No.
He's just
No.
blind. Okay. Say this ain't like a hush repeat. Wakes up.
No.
Okay.
No. So they break in, they go in, cancel the alarm, which I was kind of wondering why the alarm wasn't sounding out loud.
Yeah. Like a
'Cause-
louder alarm for a blind guy or something. Or...
Well, no,
like
like-
when they get in, it starts counting down, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like
it,
beep,
verbally,
beep, but it doesn't
starts
like
beeping.
yes,
but-
beeping or something, but it doesn't like say it out loud. Like it doesn't like I
I
don't know
think
if
if you're gonna have an alarm and someone breaks your house, you want it to be you want to hear from anywhere in the house.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
you want
part
to
of
be like,
the
woo, woo.
I think part of the charm of an alarm. The one of the reasons you have an alarm is because when people break in, it starts going off, so they hear it and get scared and leave. You know, I think a lot of that's placebo. Because I mean, by the time the cops get there, you could easily probably get in and get what you need and get out.
If you're good enough.
Yeah. Well, see, they even do a thing where they get in, they shut the alarm off. When they leave, they like break a window or something, didn't they, to get the alarm to start going off?
In the first, yeah. In the
So
very
after they
beginning,
get out, they want the cops to come.
yeah,
And
well,
think because if the cops find out that they robbed the place and that the
Nothing
alarm didn't
was-
go off, they're going to look to the alarm company. Why didn't the alarm go off? Oh, it looks like someone canceled the alarm.
Right.
So they get in, get the stuff, get out, trigger the alarm,
Okay.
and they're already gone.
It's a little smart, I guess. The question, I guess, from the trailer, this guy has some secrets.
He does have a
yes.
secret.
What?
He
All
has
right.
some strange
Let's
secrets.
dive into that. What is Stephen Lang hiding?
They make their way to the basement, which is the trailer scenes where it's pitch black.
Right.
So
so he's
that's-
already like on the hunt for them.
That's going
kinda.
down in the basement, right? So
Yeah,
they,
he's already woke up.
and they
Woke the beast.
stumble across this like sort of like rigged, like 3-walled enclosure that's like completely padded down, couch cushions, pillows, the works,
Blankets,
like,
yeah.
like
It's real like a
completely
soft, like
rigged.
padded.
right mattress area.
Okay.
Probably like I don't know, 10 feet by 10 feet, something,
Yeah.
And there's a woman chained in there. I think her mouth, she's bound, mouth wrapped up, and
So
she's
she
like,
can't scream, she can't get
rigged-
out.
Yeah, rigged to a like bell that
Like
like
a
goes off if she
harness.
starts like if she like moves.
If she moves too far, a
fast,
bell
too far.
goes off upstairs.
Like a cowbell.
So they encounter
Yeah, like
her,
a little dinner bell.
and immediately I'm thinking like, this is okay. Like, what's going on?
Is she hurt? Like bleeding?
No, she
or
seems
like
to be.
is she like the collection? Is she like one of those, or just like literally just tied up and held in
She's
place?
just tied up.
She's just restrained. Yeah,
Okay.
she can't move.
All right.
She's
I'm just trying to get the how demented this guy is. Okay.
They free her. She escapes, or they free her. They go to escape. She gets killed on accident, and Stephen Lang starts like freaking out and breaking
He's
down. And so
hysterical.
it's like, what's going on here?
Is he going like nuts?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like crying.
Like crying
balls
nuts or
out.
like
yeah.
Okay, so he's like comedian, like ugh, it's a fucking joke. Ugh.
He
Okay,
starts.
it'd be scary if he just went like ape shit, like breaking stuff. Stephen Lang.
He's got a gun. He starts like firing rounds off. But
Oh, okay.
you
Well,
find out
that's
this,
equally as scary.
That changes tone real quick.
If you let me finish, Chris, here. If you find out that the woman is the driver
Yeah, that
of the one that hit his daughter.
Oh.
So and so you're like, well, why are you freaking out about that?
yeah,
And then he explains that
she was pregnant.
she was pregnant with.
He
his,
took his daughter, or she took his daughter, so now she's going to give him a new one, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes this new girl, like the main actress Jane Levy, and
Chains her.
gets her into that same contraption and explains this to her. And so it's like, oh man, you assume the worst,
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah.
explains, like, he knows you're thinking it, and he's like, well, I'm not a rapist.
I'm not a rapist.
And then he like pulls out this like
Turkey baster.
turkey baster, like
He's gonna like artificially inseminate her or something.
Yeah, he's
gonna.
He's not a rapist. He just wants his kid back.
Yeah, and he's like, in 9 months, once you give me a kid, you're free to go. Which is weird because it doesn't explain like that's it. You're just gonna let her go. You like no explanation.
No one's gonna notice this girl's
he
gone
doesn't
for
have
9
like
months.
it doesn't explain his plan after that.
Right.
Maybe
it's
he
kinda-
doesn't even know.
And this girl explains she's only 8 weeks pregnant. So this was fairly recent. I don't know when his daughter died, but
Yeah, it must have
it's
been.
kind of weird that this is like recent. Like she could have been like 6 months pregnant. She could be due soon. Instead she's
Well,
like, fresh.
maybe the daughter died, and maybe it took him a while to decide that he was going to.
And that's true.
Because he
And
did
how
have
did-
to get the money from her first.
And how did he get her there? He's blind.
See, and
Did he go
that's-
get
I
her?
think
Did
that
he
was-
lure her?
Like,
over?
did he
We were
get
talking-
her-
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that was one of our like biggest pet peeves. We were just like, how does
He's
woman
pretty
go,
capable for a blind guy.
Yeah, but how does she go missing and no one know?
And that's why is it not? And why would they not look to him like?
Yeah, like,
Like-
he would be the first one.
Did their cars crash and he like make his way through the rubble? Like, you're coming with me. Wait, yep, you're a girl. You're coming with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? That, and it doesn't explain this stuff, so I can't obviously bug you guys about it. The anti-rape thing is a unique. You think horror movie? You think
Yeah,
rapes?
I
Think
I
it's a
thought
rapist.
the worst immediately, and then it kind of.
He's not a rapist. Okay, you
But
you
yeah,
like
other than that, I mean, yeah, good film. Had some scares. Stephen Lang is definitely scary. Wouldn't want to cross him. He can take a beating, and he definitely dishes some out.
Yeah,
I liked when they first woke him up, and he.
how does sorry I don't mean how does he wake up? Because they get in the house and he doesn't wake up, so something happens.
Okay, the rebel
Right,
robber
yeah.
guy.
Okay,
He goes into. What's he go? He goes into his room to do something.
to hit him with the.
You got to give him the
chloroform.
Clorox. The
Yeah, he's gonna knock him out.
Sorry, Clorox. You gotta clean him. The
So,
chloroform.
and the way he does it is really interesting. He like puts some chemicals in a bottle and
Shakes it up, doesn't he?
shakes it up, and then he goes to like puncture the bottle, and he looks up, and the dude's like sitting up,
erect, straight
awake.
up, like,
and it's such a
looking right at
quick
him.
like it was a really good cut, and like you weren't expecting it. Dude's just asleep, and it's like looking at him, poke at the bottle, look over, and the guy's like just up already. And he turns off the TV because there's a TV going in his room playing.
He's like playing like
Some
videos of
weird-
his daughter, And
Some like home videos.
So he like turns that off so it's completely silent, no background noise, and he can't pull the pen out of this bottle to release the air because
It's gonna make a noise, and the guy's
it'll-
gonna know he's
yeah.
there.
So it's one of those, the cut was real good. I think you said it
Yeah.
there, and it was a good shot because every time he deadpans you, you're like you're so dead, but he's blind. And
That's
it never
awesome.
explains how blind. I guess you're just assuming
He's
fully
completely
blind.
blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it say how he went blind?
He was a veteran.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know
Like
if he
shrapnel
only-
to the eye? or
yeah,
something?
so
I
we
think
don't.
that's what it was.
Yeah, something happened when I guess he was overseas and he
Oh.
lost his sight.
His eyes are there, but like no,
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
can't
yeah.
see.
see.
It's not one of those like just sockets. It's weird because I'm fresh off the Daredevil series on Netflix, who has heightened senses. Like hears heartbeats 3 floors down and things. So going into this, I was almost expecting
A superhero like
right,
deaf
like,
guy.
There was a few moments of them breathing or their heartbeats racing that Daredevil would have heard or something. But Stephen Lang does use it a little bit. He picks up the scent of the shoes. They took their shoes off when they entered the house as to not make noise.
Well, yeah.
And
Well, okay. So
He's like, someone's got smelly feet.
Well, let's get to that. But first of all, so he goes in and lets down the smoke bomb, as it were, that's in the bottle. Like as soon as he lets go of the hole that he made with the pin, the smoke starts coming out into the room. So the guy lays back down. He lets the smoke out, leaves the room, And then he's just like super confident that the guy is going to be knocked out. So he starts making all this noise to like break into the right. So he's making all this noise, and then all of a sudden, dude's awake, and like who's there, looking, trying to kind of feel his way around. And what happens after that?
It's like Money, the Slipknot, he has a gun, so he like ended up shooting this lock off through like a bottle that was a makeshift silencer. So like a piece of it's like chilling on the floor. And so, Stephen Lang comes down, he starts kind of feeling around, and they kind of are all eyeing each other. The other normal dude had left. Once the gun came out, he bolted. And,
like he left the house or just left the room?
Left the house. Like, game over for him. He didn't want to be, because
it's armed.
He was like, this is an armed robbery now that you have a gun.
Okay.
And you used it.
So he's
like, you just gave him permission to shoot us.
Yeah.
Smart thinking. All right.
So Money's trying to talk to him.
Don't give him too much
he's
credit.
actually pretty chill about it. Like, he's not all gangstered out like he normally is. And he's kind of like, I stumbled in here. I'm drunk.
Which I thought was like quick thinking.
Not too bad, yeah. So he tries to
There's
get out,
worse things he could have said.
and Stephen Lang steps on the bed of the lock. And then he instantly, like, Money looks to the girl who's, like, super quiet. And you can tell he's figured it out. So he's kind of he's like, okay, man, like, anymore, and I'm gonna shoot you.
And the dude,
right now.
And Sinners, you can't see us, but he holds his hands out. And, like, he's moving towards the guy with the gun. And it's, like, super intimidating. Like, because he knows a gun's pointed at him, And he's just, like, kind of moving for it. And then does he, like,
in an instant, he, like,
grabs the gun,
disarms him, and
grabs the dude by the throat.
Yeah.
And he was like, how many are there? Like, how many of you are in here? And he's like, just me, man.
So he doesn't spill. Okay.
Doesn't spill.
So that, he's got that going
props for him for not spilling, like... There's 3 of us, and there's a girl 10 feet to your left. Oh God!
It was one of the few moments that I'm surprised the girl didn't act there and like, you know what, just go for broke, get the crowbar and knock him out. There was a crowbar,
Right. It's a robbery. There's always a crowbar.
There's always, every movie's got
I watched
one, right?
Home Alone enough times. They had crowbars. Okay.
It's one of the few moments that they could have, I think, probably successfully
gotten away,
double teamed him or something,
Taken him
and
down.
at least get away.
Yeah.
They didn't have the money by that point, but at least he'd be alive. But immediately after that, he does waste money.
Yeah,
and
blows the dude's
him.
head off.
With the blind guy.
Like while he's there choked out, he kind of like debates it and then just like moves it into position and pops his,
He puts it up to like his chin, and he has like underneath there, and he's like, no man, don't do it. And then he kind of like moves it. And then he's just like, the guy kind of starts to get a sigh of relief, and he just sticks it right up in his shake and shoots.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, shit.
And that's when it's like, well, there
Lights
it is.
out.
Yeah, it just went super intense real
So-
fast.
And
I
then those gunshots lure the other guy back into the house. And then that's when the house goes into lockdown mode. He like,
Because
Double,
the
triple
window,
deadbolts,
the
you
window
know.
they came in through was in the bathroom, and he goes and like nails a piece of wood over the window because there's a hole in his window, and
he knows how they got in that way.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So how does
she goes
the
and
kid
like
get back in?
well, he just walks in. It's not like Collector where they can't get out. It just so happens that they get to a
They
point.
unlock the door so that they can leave because they had to break in.
Right.
And so he comes back that way. And then that's when the house goes into lockdown. He has to he runs into Stephen Lang locking down the house, and he kind of has to.
Yeah, because they have to be quiet
Right.
because he's going through the hallways, and like the kid has to like sandwich himself up against the wall so the guy doesn't run into him. And
It's real scary.
It's real intense.
I don't know
Like,
that I
he's just
could have not breathed.
patrolling
I think
the house
I'd have given
blind.
it away and got
And
killed.
the lights are off.
No, the lights. No, they turn the lights on, but
the lights
obviously you
do
can't
go
see.
out at a
At a
point
point,
when they're in
yeah.
the basement, and that's
Yeah.
a really really cool scene.
It's actually a good line. Earlier in the film, they're getting ready to rob it, and it's like 2 a.m. And one of them says, "Okay, the lights are out. We're good to go." And the guy says, "He's blind. The lights are out. Doesn't mean anything."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Huh." So right when they walk in, they start hitting lights on, which I thought was kind of cool because it's a robbery with the lights on. Like, how lucky do you get?
Yeah.
And then how unlucky do you get? You find a murder.
I didn't like the line where they were
Most
like,
maniacal army man ever. Like,
I didn't like the line, "Isn't it wrong to rob a blind guy? Just because he's blind doesn't mean this guy's a saint."
Like they knew.
Like, what do you don't know nothing about this guy.
Like 99 out of 100 blind guys are probably saints, and they found the one guy that is not.
Yeah. And so she goes and hides in the closet and sees him get in the safe. Like, they would have never found the safe, but, like, he goes and kind of, like, opens it up and gets in. What was in there? Was it...
It was the cash.
He was just making sure they didn't get it yet?
Yeah.
So
I guess he knew that would draw people because it's in the news. Like,
that this guy has
his
inherited a
settlement
ton of money
and stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's all in the news or
So
newspaper.
So he goes to make sure the money's still there, and she sees him put in the code and everything. So she's like, oh, well, money's dead, but at least I can get that money, you know. I'll take that money with me. And
No, go on.
so he leaves. She gets the money into her backpack, and then he's, like, cleaning up. So, like, in the middle of the night, this dude's just blind as a bat going and, you know, cleaning up the body, puts, like, a bag around his head so he doesn't, like, bleed all over the place, and, like, dragging him to get rid of him. And so he's hunched over, dragging him, and then the two other people are standing there, and they make some kind of noise, and he drops the body and stands up abruptly. I think that was in the trailers, but it's just, like, so scary because now you know he knows you're there.
I'd be terrified. I would absolutely be pissing myself.
Dude, I'd be one of those that's like, dude, my heartbeat's about to blow through my chest. I'm fairly certain he can hear it.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
And that's one thing I think they did really, really well was the sound design, like letting you hear the things that are usually just kind of background noise, like breathing and like anything they stepped on, any kind of creak the floor made. You know,
All three of the movies we watched had awesome sound design when it came to like
yeah,
the house is like dead quiet and you know you're like, oh my god, if I breathe or like do anything, if I like rub my shirt, you know the guy's gonna hear it. Especially Hush, the use of her because she's deaf.
she's deaf and
So, like the
mute.
parts where it was
She's
no
mute as
sound.
well. She can't talk.
That's right. Like was really cool. It sounds like all three of the movies had awesome sound design.
Yeah, it's funny how movies with such good sound design have such little dialogue.
Also true.
Collector probably had the most, but definitely Hush and Don't Breathe had very little, if any.
Well, I think Collectors sort of sets itself apart because the guy who's trapped in
It's essentially
the thing
Home Alone
is
4.
is not what's the word I'm looking for? His efforts are not hopeless. You know, like he's getting cut and stuff, but he's a smart guy. You know, he can take a hit. God, jeez, man, the guy. What didn't happen to
You're
that
talking
guy?
about the guy from The Collector?
Yeah, you
The
know,
actual-
like
the
Hush,
collector or the burglar?
the guy, the main guy,
Josh Stewart.
Josh Stewart.
The
yeah.
burglar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the burglar, not the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying he like.
Oh, yeah.
The girl from Hush, and it sounds like these kids, once they got trapped, they're basically like useless. You know, like the chances of them getting out seem less than Josh Stewart's chance of getting out of the collector's house, the fridge house that the collector was.
I don't
at.
know. No, the collector's got all those traps, and then the doors are like heavily locked. I think
You think
The
it'd be easier to
easiest
get out
house
of the
would've-
collector's house?
No,
over
no, no.
Hush?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying looking at his what he can do. Looking at him, what he can do. I think his chances were slightly higher than the people in
This movie.
definitely Hush. I mean, you're deaf and mute. You know,
I thought she had
your
the most
chance of
chances to
survival.
escape.
She
Yeah.
did, and we're gonna talk about that in a
we'll
minute.
get into that. Let's
I'm
get
just
through.
saying, looking at her individually, you know, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know, you have the most chance. Of
Anyone
being
else
screwed.
in her position would have had the most chance to.
Anyone else in her position could have easily.
Nah, I don't know about easily. We'll get into it.
We're gonna dive into that because there was times where I was like, I don't know if you'd done this differently or if you did
Yeah,
that
ifs
first.
And, ifs and buts. You know.
I'm
Ifs
just
and
saying,
buts
if
were
I was there, I'd
pain in the
live.
nuts. Yeah. Okay.
Because I wouldn't let
Okay,
anyone
okay
steal
then.
my phone.
Well, okay, first off, did you have a favorite out of what we watched? The three?
I think I'm gonna go with The Collector. I mean, I didn't see Don't Breathe, but I like The Collector because it's more Saw-like, you know, gory.
Yeah.
Like, you see all the effects and stuff. That's what I like. But Hush, not saying Hush wasn't any good.
I think Hush had the better performances, the better acting, and the better
See, I don't know. I really like.
better plot. I think all around Hush was actually a better movie.
I don't know. Derek?
I'm kind of torn on that too.
I was gonna say I think the collector's better, but I like that darker, gorier type.
Yeah,
horror
that's
movie.
that's why I'm with you. Like I like Saw movies because they're not like babying the gore and stuff. And Hush doesn't have to be gory to be good.
So the collector's
not
more
by any
Saw,
means, but-
Hush is more Scream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
know what I mean?
yeah, we'll go with that.
Less gory, but still
I saw that Hush chick in a psoriasis commercial.
really.
She wasn't deaf or mute.
Okay, well that takes it down. A couple points.
Totally changed my view on the psoriasis commercial when I saw that. But before I dive into those any further, real quick on Don't Breathe, anything setting up for a sequel? Well, does the guy die? Stephen
No.
Lang.
No.
He was left for dead, but you find out he lives.
So he it's like The Collector,
I kind of didn't.
Sort of,
No.
but
where the guy like gets
The
away.
Collector, see, that's one thing I think The Collector did really well. I love the ending of The Collector, and we'll talk about that. I didn't love the ending of Don't Breathe.
I didn't either.
Nah,
That the guy lived? Is that what you're...
I don't think the guy should have lived, but
It was just kind of weird how they ended it.
I don't think he should have lived, and it makes the news. I think his house blows up.
No,
Or something.
well,
Or does it?
The cops show up like
Oh, that-
because
maybe
she
that's in
sets
The
the alarm
Collector.
off right before.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
right.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I was
She
crossing
sets
the Collector
the
there.
alarm off.
But it makes the news that this blind army vet's house got robbed, and he killed these two people in self-defense.
So he's a
Except-
hero.
So he's a hero.
I actually do kind of like that part a little bit.
Well, I didn't like that. It's just like if there was really that scenario going on, there would have been traces of her blood in that house that they would have found.
Well, I think
And-
what happened is they went in, they saw that the two people were dead. They talked to the blind guy. Blind guy's like, obviously these people broke in. I defended myself. And do you really like question that blind
No,
vet?
and
That's
Like,
what I'm
that.
saying. You're a blind vet. You got a lot going on.
I'm
your
just
but
side.
saying
if they would have
that
even
girl took a
looked,
beating. There
if
was
they
a
would
lot
have
of blood.
looked at the
Jane
basement
Levy?
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Did the other kid die?
And they didn't.
Is
Yeah,
Jane
and they
Levy
didn't
the only
find out
survivor?
anything.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't
Yeah.
find out anything about the other
no.
driver either. That was trapped down there.
So the chick he had in the basement originally,
She dies in the basement, so she's still in the house. They would have found her.
Yeah.
right?
Well, they-
and then both of the two guys.
No, he
The
took
main
care of
chick
her.
is
Oh, he
with
did
died.
take care of her.
He-
You're right. My
he
bad.
like
He cemented her somewhere, didn't he?
cemented
damn.
her, or acid
Filled
her,
her
or
with
something.
oil.
Yeah, he like
It was
He
weird.
put something on her.
he
got
she's-
rid of her.
She's like in a box in a hole in his basement, and he like pours something over it. It looks like really like almost
Yeah, I
like
didn't.
oil.
Yeah, I didn't know
And
what was going on.
He
there.
never mentioned this, so I guess we never know. But he's sitting there covering her, and then he like puts like this false floor. Apparently, this guy has like a bunch of hideaways everywhere. And he's like puts it back on the floor, and he just kind of just walks off, like it ain't no thing.
Not that I personally know. I don't think I know any blind people. But damn, this guy sounds like he can do it all. Like,
He-
you might as well go out and get a job in the world.
I actually
Like,
heard something about blind people being way more capable than we think.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think TV like kind of makes us think blind people aren't.
And I don't mean to diss anyone. Sinners, if you know any blind guys, I don't mean any offense by them.
I can't remember what movie it was, but someone was doing research to play a blind person, and they actually studied a blind person, like a real. They teamed up with a blind person to figure
Right.
out how to play a blind person, and the studio said, "No, you're not blind enough. You need to act more blind." But like they were acting exactly how the other person was acting.
Act helpless, blind.
So
Yeah, be a victim.
Because I heard Stephen Lang wore contacts that like severely restricted his vision in order to get that role. You know, like that kind of feel down.
Well,
so
he does-
literally couldn't see.
he does something when he's walking like in the pitch black. So there is a scene when he does shut off the lights. They're in the basement, and I thought that was done really well. Like the people like feeling around the basement really looked like they were lost in the dark. And
I think
him
it
when
really was.
he had like landmarks in the basement. So he walked by and like turned this fan, so he knew I'm at the fan.
He hit
And
this,
then he
like,
reached
ceiling
up
beam
and
at one point.
Touched a ceiling beam, so you could tell he's been through this basement a million times.
It's like
This,
landmarks
then that.
down there
Yeah.
to map it out. Okay.
Yes.
Does
And
he
I
do
thought that
any
was
of
really
those?
good.
Any of those blind guy where they do like sound reverberation to see how far like a wall is? You know, like where they can like
Mm,
you know they
No.
can tell.
that's a new thing that people are doing.
He
I
kind
mean,
of
obviously,
I feel like
bats
it's been
have
around
doing
for. Blindness isn't new.
Yeah, but trying to use sonar to like navigate as a blind person is a new concept.
When I was saying they're like,
He is in the military. Was.
No, he doesn't do that now.
no, he doesn't do.
He kind of just he turns off the lights and he just kind of stands there and he gets real quiet and he just listens.
Does his floor creak at all?
He knows they're,
His
well, they're in the
upstairs floor
basement.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's all wood.
So I feel like every horror movie, there's only like one spot, in that you must have the best floorboards ever.
Well, he turns the lights off in the basement. It's just concrete,
Yeah.
so no floors are creaking there.
Oh well, all right.
But he just kind of like he knows they're gonna panic, so he just kind of takes to kind of a wall and just hears them out and kind of maps them out that way, and they just start. Obviously, they're breaking things, falling over like idiots.
Because they can't see, and they're like, in this
Their
crazy
phones
guy's
conveniently
basement.
died. Right
I think
when
they'd
they
already
went into the
found the
basement.
girl, right?
Who died?
I said their phones conveniently died right when they went to the basement. Even had a line about it.
yeah, he's like my phone's dead.
First off, I'd have had a flashlight, guys. Come on.
Yeah, you're gonna pull a heist without a flashlight, even
It's a
if
blind guy. It's not like you're worried about what he sees.
True.
I mean,
That's
that was a
true.
no-brainer for me because I had a backpack, and I know it was for the cash, but you can probably keep a flashlight.
I don't think that's gonna affect too much money from being in there. You know,
That was
Unless
just
you got,
one
like, a 30-inch
You guys are
maglite.
prepared for everything except lights.
Except for anything that goes wrong.
Yeah, come on.
And you said the girl's the only one that lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Well,
And it's
the
not like
kid-
they had a whole bunch
I
of
was
people
gonna
to
say,
kill anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't
I just-
it wasn't a very there wasn't a big kill count.
Yeah, there's not a body count.
Wasn't like
None of
Saw
these
2.
movies actually had a huge kill count, but a lot of these movies were really retained, small,
Very
cast.
isolated.
Collector, I'd say
yeah,
Collector.
very isolated cast.
Collector had a pretty big
I mean,
body count.
1, 2,
I mean, and you're obviously let to assume that he's been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I'm saying overall, like in the second one, in the collection,
Yes.
it's like a whole army squad that goes in that building.
Yeah, I didn't like that one as much.
Neither did I. But Don't Breathe sounds awesome. It sounds like something I'd really be into.
I'm trying to think if we left anything out because it was really really well shot, really well.
And I didn't see the new Evil Dead.
I loved it.
I actually, I was gonna say there must be something either wrong with this girl or she must love what she's doing because she did Evil Dead and I watched some of the special features on it and she took like a fucking ass beating in that movie when she was filming Evil Dead. Like she hated it. They pushed her so far to the part where she was like getting hysterical. Like she was just like losing her mind.
They Stanley Kubricked her ass.
Yeah, and then she comes back for this one and like, Evil Dead, she's covered in blood, and in this, she's like covered in bruises. Like she just gets her ass just whooped all up and down the screen every time she works with this guy. But she seems to love it because she does it and she does a good job. So
She gets a fat paycheck,
She is
I'm
good.
sure.
She's selling her.
pretty
She's kind of like a Jamie Lee Curtis, man. She is like selling her horror roles.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So I can definitely see why Sam Raimi and the director, I don't remember his name. I can see why they would reuse this chick. She obviously has talent, and I feel like we don't see enough of her. She had that show Suburgatory that she was on.
She was in another movie I watched. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't great, but it wasn't her fault.
She was in some movie with that Victorious chick.
Victoria Justice.
Yeah, I don't know, some kids movie
yeah,
with
it's
her.
like-
she's in that
Wasn't it
new Monster
oversized
Trucks
pants
movie
or
too.
something? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, something like that.
What?
She's in the new Monster Truck movie, that Nickelodeon flick with Havoc.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she's in that.
And coming out in January, I think.
What monster truck movie?
The movie where like the
There's like a monster
sea
inside
creature
a truck.
gets in like the
Dr.
truck
Octopus
and
is-
it's
weird,
it's so
man.
dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so
It
weird. 'cause I
sounds
was-
dumb. Well, you see Havoc from X-Men?
Yeah, he's in it too, and I was
like-
like,
I was thinking like
MacGyver.
Yeah, the new
Yeah.
MacGyver. Like,
I was thinking
come
like
on.
Cars 4,
Really?
monster trucks. Because they
Yeah.
did planes and cars and
Kind of like unless
Cars
it's
3,
like a,
submarines. That'd be cool.
Cars.
yeah, German U-boats.
I
Chris.
don't know why they
Come
didn't-
on.
What?
German boats.
German U-boats.
So out of 10 on Don't Breathe, for those who saw it, not Chris.
I'll go 7.5. 7.5.
All right,
That sounds.
okay.
I'll take that.
Derek.
Derek, where are you standing?
I'll give it a 6.
Ooh.
I had like a couple little nitpicky things, like when I made the comment earlier about be deaf. Like there was one part that I did not understand. Like she would turn on like a dryer, and that would be enough noise to like confuse the shit out of him. Like he was like, "Oh God, it's too loud. I can't handle it." He's like kind of sitting there just like dazed and confused. But he's sitting there shooting a gun in an enclosed space, like point blank, like not having any problems. Like he just shoots it, and he's just like, "I can hear fine. I'm fine. No bells ringing, nothing."
But a dryer's enough.
But a dryer's
to,
enough to
rattle his brain.
Yeah, but a dryer's enough. And then like later on, she
So
sets
maybe
off.
he's expecting the gunfire.
Well, that's another thing too. Maybe either one, he's too used to it, or maybe it's. I don't know. I really don't know. Like it was kind of weird because I was like, because there was a part where the alarm goes off at the very end, and she sets it off to get the cops there. The thing's going off, and he's disoriented again, and I was
Maybe
like,
he's just like panicked that the cops are coming.
He's like, "Fuck! I forgot my dryer even worked. Oh my god."
I'm wearing wet clothes all this time.
I've had the same military pants on since I went blind.
I think. I don't know. I can't be sure.
Yeah.
He just does anybody know if Stephen Lang had military experience, or does he just pull off military
dude,
badass
he just,
really well?
he can pull it down to like a T. It's so weird to see him do it.
Because he was so good in Avatar. Like
I'll
you almost
get you your legs back.
Yeah,
'Cause
now
it
it's
says
like,
that,
I'm
you
going to
know?
get me my eyes back.
As the crowd goes silent. That's what he says, right?
Yeah.
He does
I
say
think
that.
TJ looked at me like, what?
What? Legs back. What?
Tyler, you're not a James Cameron hater, are you?
I'm not a James Cameron lover, but I don't hate him by any means.
You like the Terminator movies?
Are you a liker?
I haven't seen him.
Sound like liquor.
You haven't
but-
seen him?
Did he just say that?
Yeah.
Are we live right now? Are we recording?
Wait,
you
you
I
just
think I saw
say-
the third one like a long time
And
ago.
you
You saw.
You
like,
started
one
with
of
the worst one.
Yeah, the worst
Well,
one.
I
out of
didn't
all of them.
choose. I think
Wow.
my parents were watching it, and I was
They
just
chose the
in
worst
the
one.
room. They had seen the other ones.
But you didn't choose the
Oh
Terminator
my
line.
gosh.
Terminator
we gotta-
We gotta fix this. This is ridiculous. Tyler, you gotta see these Terminator movies.
Anyway.
But Derek, wait, did you give yours out of 10?
Yeah, 6.
I think it's me. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
I still enjoyed the film. The points I dismissed were a few, like if you want to look outside the movie at like the bigger picture, were just some things that I had problems with, but definitely enjoyed it.
Some
Cool.
continuity errors almost.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Just some holes.
With like the lawyer and like how she got there and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Or
just
I'm
small,
sorry, the driver.
small
Yeah.
points nicked off here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Good
Well,
film, though.
I'm down for a 6, 7, and a 7.5. Those are better than the grades Nick got in high school. So,
Kind of. It's not too far from the grades I got.
So Derek, out of the other two movies we watched, Collector or Hush, I will let you choose. Which one did you like most or least? Or
I like The Collector, I think, most out of actually probably all 3 films. But Hush wasn't bad. Like, it was definitely an interesting take on the whole, being isolated, impaired, and also, I guess, trying to survive. Like, it was like, holy hell, man, this woman went through kind of a lot. But The Collector, I think, is still better.
jumping on to Hush, because I feel like it's probably the one that doesn't have the most notoriety. And did it go to theaters? I don't think it did. It's on
I think it's
Netflix.
I don't
it's a
believe
Netflix.
so.
Right, it's
It
on
is a
Netflix
Blumhouse
right now.
film.
It is a Blumhouse one. And honestly, it's one of those you think of like the general plot of deaf and a mute girl alone in a cabin. Oh my god, a guy's trying to kill her, and she can't get out of her small little isolated place. You think, I don't know if I'd be down to watch that. Sounds kind of cheesy. Not. It is not that way. It is actually really good.
I really loved it. See, I thought it was shot better than The Collector, and I think the acting was better than The Collector. You're right, it didn't have the gore, but I think, to me, that was the better.
The chick
of
was
the
a solid
3.
actor. I'm a big Josh Stewart fan. I like a lot of the stuff, and
do
I
like
feel like
that guy.
critics do. But you're right, he does.
Who's
it's weird
Josh
because-
Stewart?
The main guy in The Collector,
The burglar.
Oh,
He's one of Bane's henchmen in The Dark Knight Rises. He had a running role on Criminal Minds for a while.
Yeah,
He's
he
popped
was
up here and there. In
See, I
some
didn't think
stuff.
his performance in The Collector was that good.
I don't know. There was times. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking the overall situation.
He just looked like he almost couldn't be bothered. Like,
Well, he
like,
did have
oh,
a-
I got to get my line now. Like, I don't know.
Really? Oh man, that's too bad. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like looking at him, being like, "Oh shit, dude, I feel for you. Like,
Okay,
I
well,
feel for you."
Um,
But Hush, the chick was a solid actress.
and I think the bad guy was good too.
the dude in Hush,
Yeah.
I liked that I don't normally like this, but I like that he was making mistakes. Like, this is not a professional killer, like,
He's clearly just doing this for fun.
yeah, and there's several times where the girl almost outwits him, but then he's like, oh no, I can get you because I'm bigger, faster, stronger. Not saying anything against women, I'm just saying in the movie he was like that, so don't take this the wrong way, girls. But I like that those were that's the only reason why, she was almost killed. Is because he was like bigger, faster, or hurt
Yeah.
her breathe or something. Very, very well shot movie. Like, just the stuff they do that sets up something later on, like, she sees a girl put it in her back pocket, and then she remembers that,
Yeah.
she takes the alarm off the wall, and then it comes back into use later on. Just small stuff like that
it's
really
pretty
helps
good with that. Yeah, for sure.
set up the movie. But there was a lot of times where I was like, oh, if you'd have done this differently, or maybe if you had did that first, then you might have gotten out. Like, if you didn't breathe when you were under the porch, if you weren't like every other girl in a horror movie that's like,
That's a stressful situation, man. Once your
Yeah.
adrenaline gets going, your heart gets pumping, it's hard to like breathe controllably.
I think one of the things, kind of adding
But-
on to that
Oh, go ahead.
it's sort of in point with that. Being deaf, you also don't know what he can hear as a part of your actions. Like she knows to not breathe,
Right.
But she opens like a window. What if that window was like a creaky ass window? You don't know.
You
'cause you're
don't.
deaf.
You don't know that. And there
That's
are
true.
people where we work that are deaf, and you can tell when they laugh or they talk that they don't understand how loud
Like
they're
the
being.
volume of what
Yeah.
you're doing.
And that was one of the
and
scary
it's-
aspects for
you
me.
know, it's not your fault. You don't understand how sound works.
She moves pretty quickly sometimes, like up on the roof and stuff like
But
that.
she wasn't born deaf.
Yeah, but
Well, but she.
since she was
but
like
you still aren't gonna. If you're
13.
completely deaf, you're still not gonna know how.
she was
loud the-
13.
Born
She was
deaf or
13.
not.
I guess I'll give it that.
So she,
true.
they were just like you can't account for all the like environmental noises.
Think about if you hadn't heard a sound in like
I'm
10
familiar with
years.
my creaking steps at my house because I know that, but she wouldn't, you know, in some place
Right.
like that, especially because this is a new place. She just moved there. Her friend was trying to get her back to the city.
Well, she only
sister.
sister.
she didn't
So
live,
she-
she's only there for a while, right? Just to write her book.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay,
She-
yeah, yeah.
She's only there temporarily, so she's probably not too familiar with the place. She won't know where it creaks, what's noisy, what door makes noises when it opens, and things like that. And that to me is what is a scary disadvantage.
Right. And you think,
Our doors at our house are super loud. If I try to sneak out one of those, I'm busted, dead, killed, right there.
yeah,
It is almost her saving grace though, because the guy gets too comfortable. You know
the guy,
what I mean?
the guy
Yeah,
is
he
too
definitely
cocky,
does.
He gets
knowing
too confident.
that.
Yeah.
He's very cocky, and that's one thing I really loved. Like right at the beginning, when the killer shows up, killing her neighbor, and
It's literally
he's looking through the
5
window
feet behind her at the,
yeah.
at the glass
so
door.
the neighbor's pounding on the door. Please see me. Please let me in. And she can't hear it. She's just cooking dinner. Guy comes up, shoots her with an arrow, and then starts stabbing her right there, right like 10 feet from the chick.
All the main chick has to do is
Turn her head.
like brush her shoulder and be like, "Oh shit, my peripheral! I caught this murder going on my glass door."
So the guy like knocks on the window trying to get her attention because he's like, she's obviously not hearing me. Let me see if she's really deaf. And she doesn't look over, so he like sneaks in and starts tapping his zipper with his knife, trying to make noise to see if she can hear him. And I thought that was really cool.
I like how he like small taps, like tests the water, and then eventually he's like, boom, boom,
Pounding,
you know,
yeah.
like pounding, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna have some fun here, you know, like this just got good. But the door was, the door was unlocked because he goes in there, she's like on the laptop or whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't just doing this just to kill her. He was playing with her, toying with her.
Yeah, this was not just like I'm gonna go in there, gut her, leave, just like a gutted her friend. He was
love-
very into just playing games.
I love the scene where he walks up and she's written on the window with her lipstick, and it says, "Haven't seen your face, won't tell, boyfriend's on his way home." And he just looks at her and starts taking his mask off. It's like, "Can you read my lips?" She shakes her head. He's like, "You've seen my face now, haven't you?" And he's like, "I'm not going to come in. I could come in anytime I want. I'm going to wait till you're ready to die. And then I'm going to come in."
See, I feel like
I thought that was intense.
instantly, because you're in such a small place, I was instantly like, okay, I'm gonna grab, I don't know, and I don't know. She didn't have like any matches or like a lighter, because I'd have got me a spray or something. You're a girl, you got hairspray, a lighter, or like back into a corner, and I'm gonna sit there and wait till he comes
That's
to
not
the
as
window.
strong as you think. You were never a kid and sprayed like your hand covered in Axe and then lit it on fire?
Well, every movie, it's automatically just like the biggest torch you could ever make.
I think if you
Yeah, essentially,
held,
by
held a
horror
spray
movie.
paint or a spray or a hairspray can and a match at me, I wouldn't even flinch because I'm like, it's going to be
No, but
warm
if
for a
he-
second, but as soon as I knock that out of your hand,
If he
you've got
walks through the
nothing.
door, gets caught on fire, and you got like your hammer or something,
It's not like Home
and you're able
Alone
to
where it's
knock
like a
his shit out.
blowtorch. A blowtorch maybe, but a
I'm playing by
hairspray-
horror movie rules, okay?
I'm playing by physics rules.
I think if
not
you got
gonna
it, I
burn
mean,
me.
if you got it in the face, it would definitely
Yeah,
disorient
you're
them for a
You're gonna
second.
it
stun him
wouldn't-
or something.
You wouldn't
You're
burn
going
him,
to
but
stun him, but you're not going to stop him.
Either way, long enough for you to get your hammer or screwdriver or whatever and beat the shit out of him.
I'm telling you,
I-
it wouldn't stop me.
Whatever I had, I would have sat in the
All right,
corner.
Sinners, we're going to get our camera out, and we're
Where
going to get
one
some
door-
hairspray and a match, and we're going to
a
test
room
this
where
out.
there's one window or one door, like upstairs, where he only had to go through like that window. I'd have sat there where he couldn't see me, and when he comes in, you take advantage of him. That's what I'd have done. But on the chances where she got outside, she got outside, what, 2 or 3 times?
a few times, yeah.
Like she was up on the roof, and how'd she get the crossbow again?
She...
Because she went out on the roof.
Through the
He shot
flashlight.
her, and then she took it from him.
Oh, Oh, he was climbing.
He was climbing up onto the roof,
And she, like,
she
grabbed it.
reached down and grabbed it.
and like knocked him off or whatever, and then shimmied across the gutter, which I was for sure like, it's gonna break. That gutter's gonna break.
oh, yeah.
Okay, you got the strongest gutter on the planet.
Yeah,
like,
she did. And even when the guy climbed up on the roof, he was still leaning on the roof. Like, he knew he was walking on a gutter.
yeah,
She thought it was a balance beam or something.
yeah, and I was, I was instantly like, I thought it was gonna break and like set up something like later on, you know, or like creak. You know, and then
No,
as she
just-
comes through later on, it's gonna break. Oh, conveniently as the guy's walking or she's walking.
Yeah, she was able to go over it twice. Come
yeah,
on, man.
and the guy was able to go across.
Well,
So-
maybe when you lose your hearing, you like weigh less.
It's so weird. Maybe
Heard of that one? It's like Isaac's fourth law or something.
Yeah.
You know?
is just like the strongest gutter on the planet. And then he went out and he slashed all of her tires. He changed the password on her Wi-Fi.
Which, that was super smart. Like, he took her phone and then changed the password to the Wi-Fi. That's crazy smart.
Yeah. Well, and the chick, her sister, who she's like FaceTiming with or Skyping with or whatever, was like, "Oh my God, what was that? I saw something behind you." She's like, "Ah, cat." Didn't even look.
Bitch.
You know, like,
love
I'd
that
at
the
least been
cat's
like,
name was
"Oh,
Bitch.
you know, cat." But I guess looking over her shoulder is just something she's not very good at, because 2 or 3 things in the movie could have been avoided if you did that. You know?
Yeah, but there's no reason for her to think that she was about to be murdered. It was just a normal day for her.
There was one scene though that I thought was pretty cool to see, because it was him trying to, I guess, use his wits to outsmart the boyfriend of Sarah, the neighbor.
That was
He
so
like shows
good.
up and he like comes running from around the house with that flashlight on the entire time, and he's just like, "Don't move, police!" You know, he has him, and it isn't until I think he gets the other guy's phone he starts to like let himself slip, and I was like, "You almost had it." And then the guy basically ends up catching on, and he's going to do something about it, and then gets distracted by the girl.
Well,
and
you
then
could tell
right to the
anytime
neck.
like the boyfriend would start to figure something out, like he would look the guy over and the guy would like shine the flashlight back in his eyes to like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm still a cop and I'm still in charge here." And I thought that, yeah, you're right. I thought that was really good.
I don't
Yeah.
get why the boyfriend wasn't like, "What car did you come in? Where's your car? Here's the main chick's car, who I don't know the name of.
He
Where's
said
yours?"
he got knocked out and his radio and his gun taken, so maybe the car got taken as well.
Maybe
Oh,
he's
was he
assuming-
saying the killer had already left? Is that what he told the
Well,
boyfriend?
he said, "I got here, got knocked out, and then I woke up and you were
Okay.
here."
I was still looking at that guy and being like, "Dude, you have like a huge dragon tattoo on your neck. What force are you on? You know,
I
like
don't
you
think-
don't look like a cop to me." And you're
I think cops can have tattoos.
Yeah.
Well, they can't. I don't know if they can have it on there.
You
It's
ever- I don't know.
2016, you know.
maybe in our hometown, which I'm not gonna lie, all our fat pig cops, you know, they don't look like that at all. I'm just saying, if I was the boyfriend, I would have been like, "You don't look very cop-like. You're wearing like a sweater vest, like some kind of like Letterman jacket, jeans."
I don't know. Guy shines a flashlight in my face, claims he's a cop. I don't know. I'm almost inclined to believe him. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything wild and crazy.
But I look
because
no
it's
gun.
such like because he's taken off guard. He's looking for.
You still
his
have to hear enough of
girlfriend.
the story though to make a decision. You can't just assume like
This guy's
shitty
not a cop.
situation, cop with the tattoo, light in my face, I'm attacking.
I'm knocking him out.
I don't know. I still feel
Fight or
like the
flight,
boyfriend-
I'm fighting.
Derek, what do you? I still feel like the boyfriend could have figured it out sooner,
He-
or could have
he
acted
did figure
sooner.
it
He
out.
did figure it out. He just didn't act fast enough.
Yeah, he
And
figured it
then-
out
'cause
upon.
he was gonna hit the dude in the head.
Well,
with
think
a
about-
rock.
I think he wants to find out as much info as he can. Cause
I agree.
He doesn't care about as much as the girl in there so much as his girlfriend, but he has to find out about his girlfriend or wife
Has to
because
find
she's
out-
been mentioned.
Has to find out about his
saying
girlfriend.
I think the
She's
boyfriend
obviously
could have
a
handled it
topic
differently.
here.
Boyfriend could have ended it, and then
Well, he also knows he's bigger than this guy.
he
Knows
was
the guy
going to.
knows the guy doesn't have a gun. So in his mind, he's like, "I'm gonna wait until I'm not gonna just
Do it
run
right
in
one time.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's waiting for his moment.
And he almost gets
And he
it,
had
and
his
it's that
moment.
girl that distracts them.
and it's
Yeah.
not either of their fault really. She's like, "Oh, he's here. I need to let him know I'm in trouble," and then what? And then stabbed right in the neck, which I thought.
I
thought-
wanted
but-
him to
but I
act
gotta say,
faster,
though-
but I just think he was trying to.
what if he had let the guy get the key? Wait, was there actually a key under the rock?
I
Or was
I
he just-
don't think
I
so.
didn't think
Okay.
because nobody
If-
went for it.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. I was saying if there actually was, he should have been like, "Yeah, get the key, once he gets up there, unlocks it, then make your move or something.
Clobbering time.
Right? Yeah. God,
But I
jeez.
was gonna say, I do have to say, he was a fucking champ. Even after he got piked in the neck, was like bleeding all over the place. He still got on top of the dude, put him in a fucking stranglehold.
He almost had him.
Yeah.
Had he not bled out and died.
If
I
he
love
would've-
how the guy even talked about it. Like,
Yeah,
was
he's
there
like,
a 2 out of 10
wasn't gonna
chance?
take you. Yeah.
Big linebacker type or whatever he says.
He's like, big guy, kind of like you, jock type, and he's just like, kind of labeled him, and I think that's kind of when he was like, the fuck.
He made the disadvantage
but-
evident, and then
Yeah.
jumped on his one opportunity to get him, and he did.
And I think I don't know. That just seemed like really good storytelling. Like, his boyfriend gets here, and you're like, okay, this guy looks like he could fuck him up. Hopefully, he does. And sadly, I read when I was reading the trivia for this movie, like at the very end of the trivia, like no spoiler alert or nothing. They were like, body count 3, killer, the neighbor Sarah, Maddie, or whatever her name was, and the boyfriend. So the boyfriend showed up, and I was like, God damn it! Like, I know he's gonna die. Thanks, trivia. Well, you got to put a spoiler there. Tell me the body count, and then the names.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Not
oh,
only did you tell me how
surprise
many people
ruined.
died, but who.
Hopeful ending gone. But it really well put together. I like that she's a writer. And, she's having trouble. She's got like 7 different endings to this book that she can't figure out which one works. And then when all hope seems lost, and she looked like hell towards the end of that movie, right? She had enough. And then she's able to okay, what are all my options? Weighs it all out with some inner monologue. And then
You can't run.
you
You
can't,
can't hide. You can't wait.
Yeah, that was cool.
What does that lead?
The possible endings or whatever. Dad said it while we were watching it, and I was like, dude, that's. And then it started, I don't know,
Clicking.
montaging or whatever.
Right,
its
like
way.
goes through and recaps them all.
And I was like, okay, that's pretty wild. You talked about how she looked like hell. When she got her hand stuck in the door, and the dude
stomped it.
She gets like from her wrist up, and like her extent, like one full hand stuck in a sliding door at the bottom.
because she reaches out to grab the arrow.
Right, and the
bolt.
the bad guy, the killer, steps right on her hand,
Stomps on it.
like the hand is vertical, and like thumb
Horizontal.
on top.
That's vertical.
It's vertical. I think,
Horizontal.
Chris.
Horizon.
like this.
Yeah, come on.
Her
man.
hand was like this,
That's-
horizontal, right?
That's vertical.
No, it's facing vertical.
Chris,
though.
it's
It's not
vertical.
like this.
Vertical.
It's
This-
not.
Cinematic
Chris
Chris doesn't know what horizontal.
goddammit. This is vertical.
If your fingers are pointing to the side, that'd be
If you're okay, where's the,
The plane
horizon
is
line?
horizontal.
Hold on, hold
plane.
on.
Okay, we'll say the plane. Don't
Hold
say her
on.
hand.
What way?
If her fingers are up, that's vertical.
Sinners,
guys.
we're having a real
No,
problem
hold
here. That
on.
we're gonna.
Hold on.
Well,
Let's,
I am not the weird one here, guys.
no, you definitely.
What do you call? What is your hand? What position would you say your hand is right
Vertical.
Vertical. It's not
now? Vertical,
horizontal.
vertical. Her hand is horizontal on the plane.
Her hand is up and down, so I call that vertical.
How's
Yep.
that up and down? Her fingers are literally to the
it's not-
side.
Chris,
Their
it's
fingers
not
are
flat.
stacked.
Her thumb is vertical, if that's what you want to say.
We're arguing about
It's
this
the
on
plane.
air. You know, people are gonna hear this and judge you.
Sinners, comment on. Make some sense to these.
Sinners,
Okay.
send us pictures
I'm
of a
gonna
vertical
finish this
hand.
story.
Oh,
TJ's gonna have
shit.
pictures along with this podcast, so we can discuss and take polls.
Whatever. This is ridiculous.
He steps on her very vertical hand, and like 2 fingers break in such a manner that I like cringed and cried.
I
like, in front of my dad
hurt
watching
just thinking
this.
about it right now.
It's
I don't think I can move those 2 fingers right now because they're vertical.
and they both broke
and got
diff-
smashed.
They both broke differently too. So it was like 2 fingers, 2 separate breaks in a very nasty, gruesome way that looked extremely painful.
like the pinky's like broken backwards, and this one's like broken forwards, and it
Yeah.
just looks like a mess.
if you've ever seen the horrible Wolfman movie where he's like freaking out in the electric or in the chair like on display and his hand starts breaking, it's like that. Don't watch the movie, but if you want to watch that scene, go for it.
It was
Don't
really
watch
gruesome. That was like she got shot in the thigh with the bolt, and you're like, yeah, that's gotta hurt, right? That sucks. And it was like the meat of the thigh too. So like, I give her props. And then that happened, and you're like, oh my god, what the? Oh Jesus Christ! Like, your hand just feels like a paralyzing, like, oh god.
The guy in the collector took a beating too. I mean, his hand in the window trap. He gets a cut on the forehead.
walks
gets
to-
punched
That's
several
one thing
times.
in the correct
The
in
phone.
in the collector that I didn't like. Like, you see his hand stuck in the window. His left hand's just sitting there doing nothing. Lift that board up, dude.
I kind of wondered about that too, but
You got 2 hands,
It
and
was-
there's
didn't
some
show
other
a
things
lot.
that happen. Like, they were doing something else, and like there was like one simple thing.
Well,
he
the
could've
boards
done.
are nailed in.
But not when he stuck his hand through the window, the board fell on it. And the weight of the board was supposed to hold the
thing.
razor on his hand. Well, if you just move your left hand and lift the board up a little bit.
I thought both boards were sprung, not just.
Oh, so
one.
Yeah, I
from
thought
the bottom and
almost
the top?
like-
That's what I thought.
That's why I thought it clamped him.
So it would.
So
he
he
would have had
used-
to try to like.
He used the
Spring
left hand
both.
as like
Lift
to
up
be able
on
to
one,
push,
down
you know,
another.
pull
Well,
the
just
right
stick
hand
your foot
out.
up there.
That's
too.
why
I don't know.
we're not all that nimble.
I agree, but
Yeah.
I assumed that they were both spring loaded.
There were some other things that I was like, why didn't you just?
But it didn't chop either.
Why
Just
didn't
kind
you
of
just
stuck
do this,
it
or
out,
why didn't you
so.
just do that?
The-
But I mean, life's full of those. So
Both of them in Hush took a beating. The killer took a beating too. What, he got
He got
two
hammered
bolts hammered,
in the arm or whatnot.
like
yeah.
in the arm, but he's still using the arm a little bit later on. So I was like, it must not have been that big of a.
Weak swing.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah, I
the
get
boyfriend's like, "Oh man, your arm's bleeding. You all right?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I just got took a hammer."
well, no, he said
that
the
was-
dude that ran out of the house hit him that hard that like you don't just run into someone and they start bleeding.
He just like,
It's a juggernaut.
Like, oh,
He ran in, scratched my arm real quick, knocked me out.
Took my gun. Left my flashlight though. Thank God
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Or you'd have no idea I was a cop if I didn't have this flashlight.
And then
I would have
everything-
said something like, "Let me see your badge, dude."
Yeah, that's another thing. Like you didn't be like,
I think that's a part of the what you were saying. The
They took
process
my-
that
well,
I
they-
didn't see was I think I would have been like, well, let me see a badge or something.
Well, they took my badge. Well, then you're not a cop right now.
like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if I can't see a badge, you're not a police officer.
Like, I'm sorry, they took
I don't see a
every
cruiser,
single
I
identification.
don't see a gun, and I don't see a badge. You are not a cop right now.
It's like right after
Like,
he gets his phone. He
They must
like,
have took your whole utility belt there, champ.
right after he looks like down at the phone, the killer does. Like he kind of looks at him. He's like, man, he's like wearing like a hoodie, a t-shirt.
Let me use your phone. How about I'll call 911?
Yeah,
And you
how
stand
about-
right there.
Yeah, that's exactly. I
No,
think
you
how
wouldn't
I-
have said that, though. You'd be, oh, sorry, officer, here's my phone.
I'd be like, oh, sorry, guy who looks like a cop, who I'm pretty sure is not. I'll call the cops though. I'll call your backup because you were dumb enough to get yours taken. I don't give my phone out to anyone. Okay, Tyler, you weren't there. Oh, maybe it was Spencer Sargent. I thought like in high school, like you saw me have like a throwdown with one of our vice principals. And she was like arguing with me about my phone, and I was like, no. I was like, you're not gonna. Anyways, I don't give my phone up, but I instantly, like you said, like I don't get why the guy was like, well, I like how the guy, because I thought he was gonna forget about it, because the guy makes a call, puts it in his pocket, and the big guy's like,
The call was really convincing, too.
yeah, you almost
He
think
got a 417, and he knew the address, and what else did he say?
Yeah, it's those
Suspect
small details
on
that
foot.
kept his story afloat.
Yeah.
Like
Suspect on foot. Like, the way he talked really sounded like a police officer calling for backup.
and that's why I would have waited. Like unlike what you said, that's why I would have waited because he had just enough details to sort of like
plausible
oh, shit,
deniability.
he does know some,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I wouldn't have attacked him immediately.
I almost thought he was gonna pull one of those like, like, come back around with like a, I knew you weren't a cop because 417 isn't, like
I
all of a
happen
sudden
to
this
know
guy has
cop
like,
code.
yeah, I know cop
Yeah.
lingo, like 417 is a, yeah, I don't know.
Possessed
I need a
dog.
donut.
yeah, like a loose dog on the street or something, not a robbery, you idiot.
417, that's when Dunkin' Donuts throws out last night's donuts.
I was
Go get
there.
some for free.
Join your buddies.
2317 or 2319, Monsters Inc. No, you guys
Good
don't
movie.
like Monsters Inc.
It's
Of course.
a good one.
Eh,
No one knows what.
I
You say
love,
eh?
I love Monsters
it was
Inc.
all right.
Derek. How did she end up killing
He
the guy?
He comes in to I think deliver like the final blow, and he like gets too confident with himself and like breathes on her, and she feels it.
Oh, that's right. He's
And then
behind
she
her.
flips the knife around, and there's that slow motion turn where he barely misses her neck with the knife, and she stabs him in the arm.
She like conveniently moves as he like.
well, I thought it was pretty cool.
I think
I thought
she
it was
just
cool.
I think she
Like, it was
just
convenient.
acted like reacted as soon as she felt the breath. She's like, oh shit.
Like,
And
what
she
if he
just
had it in
spun
the
around.
other hand? And so she'd have turned and he'd be like, right on my knife, flay.
Well, I think it was all like, things are happening, I need to move now, and the knife was already in her left hand, so of course she's going to turn left. It wouldn't make sense to turn right. So I think she just played the odds and got lucky.
I saw that there was a window
Yeah.
above the tub for him to get in, but I thought it looked like it was a quick shot, the one I saw, but I thought it didn't look like a window he could fit through. So I was kind of confused on how he got there anyways.
Well, I think he shattered the window, because I think you see the glass falling behind her.
Really?
I don't think he shattered it.
I think so. You see some stuff falling behind her.
I don't.
I thought it was just like him like climbing in, like maybe the curtains were moving. I feel like if he shattered it, she would have felt the glass
Heard it,
like
felt
sprinkle
it.
onto the floor, because she talks about like
How she can feel the vibration.
vibrations from the alarm.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't know. That's kind of weird because he's banging on the door and she doesn't feel it either. So
That's
I
not,
don't
but
know.
she seemed to know when her phone was like,
Well,
every
No,
time her
she
phone would
didn't.
vibrate, it seemed like she'd always be like,
the screen
Phone alarm.
The screen
Tingling,
would light up,
like-
screen will light up and then the
and the
flash.
camera, the flash flashes.
Yeah,
When it's
that way
the
it can
flash
alert her.
flashes.
She's got a lot of visual cues,
Like a lot of visual
built into her
notifications.
She
life.
always puts her phone face down. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
She
the
can
camera
see it.
flash can.
Okay.
And then he chases her into
That's
the
gotta be a
kitchen,
battery killer though.
and she gets him with like wasp spray or something in the face, and then slams the battery into the smoke alarm, and that turns it on. So he's like, he can't see, and then he can't hear. So
He
she
recovered
takes-
from the wasp attack pretty quick though.
Yeah, that I thought was wrong, because have you ever seen that take down a wasp? It's like
I've
a
seen it take down like a
neurotoxin.
colony of them. It's
yeah.
horrible.
That stuff is like high industrial like chemicals. That shit can really fucking kill you. And he just is like, no worries, ain't no
One
wasp.
one thing I didn't like that, geez, because I knocked this movie so much and you guys want to bash me for it, so I'm expecting a bashing answer here.
Wait, hold on.
She can't load this crossbow thing at all.
Of
like
course
100
not, dude.
times.
Those things are hard to load.
And then she comes out and has one loaded and like fires the guy after he kills the boyfriend.
Well, she got one loaded. I mean, she was close a lot
what, on
of
the
times.
101st try you get lucky? Dude, your muscle, you gotta be weak. You're bleeding.
No, she's got a crazy adrenaline, and
I
come
don't
on,
know.
dude.
I don't
I
believe it,
figured her
man.
fingers would be tore up if anything.
Okay,
Exactly.
I think if that guy can load a crossbow like it's nobody's business, she can get it one time.
He didn't look like it was nobody, but he had
yeah,
trouble.
he did. No, he put
He
it
wasn't
on the ground,
just like
put his
boom,
foot in it,
chick, chick.
pulled up on
That's
it,
all
and
he ever had to
cocked it.
do. Yeah, I mean it's.
But he
Which
wasn't-
she was doing it from
He wasn't
the
like,
ground, which I
like,
thought was
oh
idiotic.
man, this is a cakewalk.
Like you could put all your weight on the foot holder
Well,
and pull
she
up.
tried 100 times. I just don't think
maybe she just
what
wasn't-
you're going to get stronger. No, and then you're not able to replicate it, which made it even more like, okay, this, See,
No.
every time I bash this movie, you guys want to come back here and just bash me for
I
it.
love this
Think
movie.
realistically, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, she is. You saw how many
Nick.
times she got like close and then she let go.
All right, let's go to the weight room, and I'm going to give you something you can't lift the first time. But on your 101st try, you're going to get it.
Okay. I work on machines all day where I have to stretch really tight belts over really.
No crossbow, that don't matter.
Yeah, it's the exact same concept. If
I
something
do
that doesn't
yoga.
stretch very well that I need to stretch, and the more you do it, the more it eases up, and the better you get at it, and the better of a feel you get for it.
You're not bleeding from like 3 different places.
And I'm also not being chased down by a murderer.
Nor are you weak. Not that she's weak. I don't want to.
All right, let's take a vote. Who thinks she could have got at least one arrow in the chamber?
After
it's possible.
like 100 tries,
I think it's possible.
I don't think so.
Nick?
I
not
I
believing
think
it.
one arrow is doable. She was sitting when she was trying to load it.
So
Then
she
we
maybe-
did- and
maybe
then we
she
didn't
stood up
s-
and did one.
Right, then we didn't see her load it. So if she stood up, yeah, I totally think that she could have gotten at least one.
I don't know.
And that's all
I'm
she
not feeling.
got.
I don't believe it at all. She's,
I think
she's a
she
bloody
could.
mess. She's got to be weak. She's like pale in the face. Like
I was surprised she got
Minutes.
the one. I'll say that. I mean,
I just didn't believe it. That
she
was my
does
only
spend
problem.
forever failing like a noob.
All right, do any of you guys have problems that I can just shit all over? Huh? Anyone? Anyone?
What did,
Anyone want to support this movie so I can rain down on you?
I love the movie.
Out of 10, what did you think on this one?
1. Fine, just kidding. In all professional manner, I don't know. I'd give it like a 7, 7.5. Like I said, it was good. Like shitty storytelling moments aside, y'all know what I'm talking about. The sound design was good. The plot, like I said, the plot makes it sound like it's gonna be like just like a B amateur film, but it wasn't. It's very well done. Like I
Blumhouse is
said,
good
I
at that.
liked that the guy was
They
making
take basic
mistakes.
concepts and turn them into
I like that the girl
good movies.
was able to use her mind, you know, not just be like a typical, oh no, I'm useless and I'll never get out of this. She went for the kill, you know.
I love
She
that.
limited all her options. She was like, I gotta kill him.
I
That's
love
my
at the
only
end
option.
when she like she types the description out and I love you guys. I went down fighting. I was like, man, I don't know. I thought that.
No, I like that. It's so weird to think because here in this, here in like the city suburb, where wherever we're at, you don't need Wi-Fi on to be able to send messages and stuff. So the fact that she has to have it on, like to me, it took me a minute to get used to that. Like,
She had to
come
have
on,
it
you
for her
couldn't
computer.
just.
She didn't have her phone.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, okay, I get. Yeah,
Plus,
I
they're
guess
out
that
in the
makes more
sticks.
sense.
It's the further you go,
But she gets
out in the middle of nowhere, it's
on
harder
her
to get
phone.
stuff.
Doesn't she try it on her phone and it's like the Wi-Fi password's not right?
No,
No,
takes
she
her
tried it
phone.
on her Mac.
Yeah,
He
she tried it on-
changed the password on the phone.
Yeah,
he
took
gets
it.
the phone, takes the pictures of her, sends them to her computer. That's how she
He took her
knows.
phone too, though, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he's got the phone.
Because he's taking the pictures with their friend's phone. The friend
no,
who got
no, he's
No,
taking
with
the
her
pictures
phone.
with her phone.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
and it
took-
sends
take a
them to
picture
her
of
on
her
her
So I
Mac.
thought it said some out.
That's what's more
Like her
scary because
friend
she's like,
calling.
all of a sudden she's getting pictures from her own phone to her computer, and they're pictures of her doing things that she just did.
I thought he took the girl's phone.
No,
No.
That's
No,
why
because
she.
I thought it
that's
popped
why
up like,
she-
"Hey, your friend is sending you something. Has a message for you." Opens it up and
Remember,
sees the
because she goes
pictures.
for her friend's phone in the back pocket later, hanging out.
Yeah,
the
and
window.
it's not on her because he has it.
It is
No,
on
it is. It's on her. You see it later too, like at the very end. You see it like sitting on her.
Well, that's after he, because after he gets it in the arm with the hammer, he like goes over there because he finds out what she was trying to do.
Right, and then I thought he pulled it out
He
like,
pulled it
"Oh,
out and
you're
stuck
going
it
for
on her
this,"
back.
Uh-huh.
Oh, her
and
dead
then he
back.
put it on her back
Well, yeah,
because she's searching the. I didn't think
I
it was
think
on
he just
the body.
interrupted her trying to get it.
yeah, that was it. The phone
She
was
doesn't have a
always on
damn
her at
phone.
all
Either
times.
way,
Yeah,
no
you-
phones.
Yeah,
She does not get access to a phone.
I was
Okay.
thinking that too. I was trying like, man, how do you really get around not being able to call anyone? Because she does get a phone at the very end. She gets her phone back, and that's how she calls the cops.
Thankfully, that my house there's like 4 of us, and somebody leaves a cell phone somewhere, so it's good. We'll figure it out. And we have a landline, which I guess if the power was out wouldn't matter, but
All right, let's go. Let's wrap this one up. Ratings.
Like I said, I already gave it probably like a 7.5.
sitting at a 7 again.
yeah. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Sevens. I'm gonna go 8.5. I really like this movie.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I like it a lot.
I feel like we've just seen a lot of the like, you're trapped in your place and I'm toying with you like aspect of,
I think
and it's different each time.
I think the disabilities add a lot to it, and I think this was just done really well.
I agree, and I'm
I
not
think-
trying to
I
knock
think
it, but we have
Blumhouse-
seen a whole bunch of
Not
that
to,
stuff.
I am a huge Blumhouse fanboy, and James Wan, and all those.
Marcus Dunstan, Patrick Melton.
But I don't want to just like it because of that. But it's just really they take things that are like way overdone and do them really well. Like how many possession movies are there? But you go watch The Conjuring, and The Conjuring feels different.
Is that a
than
Blumhouse one?
Yes.
Okay.
James Wan, Blumhouse.
Right.
Amazing.
Well, the two dudes who wrote and directed The Collector actually won season 1 or 2, or maybe 3. One of the first 3 seasons of Project Greenlight, the Matt Damon Ben Affleck one. They did that horror movie Feast.
Stupid movie, by the way.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yeah, me and him had a
You
sit
saw
through
it,
with
yeah.
Gabe.
It wasn't good, but The Collector was so good.
It's interesting. It has a cool premise, but it's really
Right. That's
cheeky.
that's what they got made first, and then they did a few of the Saw movies. They did.
Really.
They wrote 1 or 2 movies that they didn't direct, but one of them directs most of their stuff. He directed both The Collector and The Collection. But The Collector, solid movie. I like that it's like a guy going to steal something from this house, unknowingly that it's the guy he works with, right? One of the exterminator guys.
Yeah, he was like
They
a
don't.
handyman at the
They
place.
work
and then-
next to each other. They don't
know of each
They don't
other,
work
yeah.
together.
Okay,
They're both
yeah.
separate.
They were
contractors.
working same time, same
Well,
place.
let's dive into Collector then.
Right. So our main guy, Josh Stewart, he is a contractor or something.
a handyman.
Handyman,
yeah. And he owes his wife some money.
He
or
doesn't
they-
owe anyone
his
money. His
wife
wife
owes money to
owes some
loan
people
sharks.
some money.
Oh, and he's just going to get her for her.
Because if not,
Going to
she's
do a
going to
job.
leave, take his daughter with her, and
Live a life somewhere.
yeah,
Well,
he just doesn't want to lose his daughter. I think.
Right, because she's got these brokers after her, right?
Loan
Loan
sharks.
sharks. Yeah,
sharks.
that's what I'm looking for. And so he's doing work on this house, and it's a rich family, right? They just got a lot done. Looks like they have a lot of money.
You feel so bad when like the dude gives him the extra money for his daughter, and then he's gonna. Well, if you've seen it once, he's gonna come back and rob the place.
Yeah. So basically, as he's doing these handyman jobs, he's staking the place, or he is able to stake the place out a little bit. Looks like he's probably been there a few days doing some stuff.
Yeah.
They're on first name basis. They have a little bit of an exchange outside of just, hey, I need this fixed. Hey, do this for me. Blah blah blah. And so that night he goes and breaks into this house, and everything seems fairly normal. And does he discover it's like a little house of horrors
Gets
before?
interrupted.
Oh, that, yeah.
the killer
He is in the
returns.
middle of cracking the safe. That apparently only.
I did like that. I liked that he got all the way to the safe before he even realized that anything was wrong with the house.
He's like over halfway through cracking the safe.
yeah.
Before he hears someone come upstairs, and so he, stops what he's doing. He's got to hide his shit and hide. And I like that it's not like The Purge where the house is so huge you just can't hear anything. It's a fairly reasonable size house, right? Like the average size, middle class.
They hear
family
most
with
of
some
what's
money.
going on, like the reach.
There was a lot
Right.
of convenient door placement.
I thought of that too.
Like
They're able to go
which-
into one room and go around.
A lot of
Which
rooms
made a
had
lot
more
of-
than one way in and
but
out.
it made a lot of cool shots where they could
Yeah.
lift up over the
like
roof.
bird's eye view.
Yeah, so you could come from in the room, come up, see the collector going in one room, see the guy go out the other room.
I like that
Right.
they did that, and I like that they did it in one shot,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Yeah.
Just a little thing. You said talking about your stairs creaking and stuff.
Yeah.
This guy, you see him walking up steps, and this one step creaks, and he makes note of it.
Right, yeah.
Not like a big ordeal. Like, okay, I gotta remember this floor creaks.
An advantage he has over the killer.
Right, and so he's coming down. You see him every time. He's able to just jump that step and avoid that sound being heard. Just small little detail like that. You're like, you got it down, man. You know what you're doing.
One question I had about this film, the killer returns to the house when he's getting interrupted that first time. So why did the killer leave then? The killer came, put all the people in their places, left for some reason, and then came back?
I had thought about that.
I don't
as
think
well.
he left.
I mean, he entered the house. What's up, boys?
Yeah, I think I don't think he left. I think he came from the basement or something.
No, he came through the front door.
He entered the same door he did.
The killer did?
Yeah, that side door that ended up with all the locks up and down it.
Yeah, he entered the side door.
I don't remember that.
He entered the side door because he heard it. Thought he heard it shut.
and then he comes.
And
up the
that's when he
stairs.
stepped on the stair, and that's when he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta hide because someone's here or whatever." And the fact that this guy's like brutally torturing people in the basement, the family that lives in the basement.
They don't live in the basement.
Did I say that they live in the?
the family that is. trapped
Oh
in the
yeah, no,
basement.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, they do now.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, I guess they're making it comfortable down there as well.
Yeah.
And this guy is the burglar. He's wearing some creepy ass mask.
You mean the killer?
Yeah.
You know what that
He's like a
mask
burglar.
reminds me
God
of?
damn
Did you
it.
guys see those
Come on,
commercials
Chris.
with the Flex Seal? That stuff in the can?
You spray it black and it just protects from. Yeah, it looked like that.
Yeah, I figured you could make a paper mache mask and just spray it with Flex Seal, and then boom, you got yourself a mask.
And I like that it almost looks like it's stitched up in the back,
Yeah.
sewn,
Yeah.
not around his head, not
Yeah.
into his
Yeah,
head.
it's tied.
His eyes were creepy. He didn't need to say anything to be creepy. He looked creepy. Okay, he obviously does creepy shit. And so the mom and the dad that lived there are both tied in the basement. Did they even leave the house, or did he get them on the road and bring them back? Because the oldest daughter's not there,
That's
but the
something
youngest
that they
one is.
don't clarify.
That was one of the other questions. Yeah.
Which also brings you back to because the
The
guy
daughter
was
who
gone.
was gonna have to go on vacation with them ended up, I guess, being able to just leave the house.
Yeah, they had that huge argument. That was just for show. Let me take a drag, and
She
and
was
then
so cool smoking that cigarette.
yeah, she's like, it's just for show. I'm about to argue with my mom like some pissy teen bitch. Like, come on. And then the dad's
I'm
like,
really cooler than that.
I don't normally do this, but for you, I will. And then the dad's like, somewhere to 13, things get rough, but I hear they always come back down. Here where shit returns to normal. It's like, yeah, that's rough life, man. Derek, you like this movie, right?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was definitely pretty interesting to see almost, and you guys were kind of talking about it. You have the killer on one end, who is this smart, slick killer, pretty much gets away with it every time. God knows how many times.
Expert knife thrower.
He does all this weird shit, but then the burglar has his own little deals too. He knows
His
he
own
has to be-
skill set.
Yeah, because he's a burglar, so he knows how to get in and out of houses quietly without making any noise. I think he had a bigger advantage than average people. But even still, I think it was he walks into, is it the razor wire that he walks into?
Cuts his cheek a little bit.
Yeah, he walks.
Oh,
in,
and
he's
he walks
oh.
into the hooks as well.
Yeah,
He
the
walks
hooks.
into the hooks.
Every time he turns the corner, man, he's running into a new trap, and he's just he catches himself and he's like, oh shit.
He was an awfully lucky guy.
Yeah, because there's a cat that didn't make it.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
So brutal.
The cat didn't make it.
And the older daughter who like didn't believe him, she thought he was like the psycho, and so she like takes off and like gets hit with a trap. And I was just like,
I love when the dude fell in the bear traps.
yeah.
That was so
Yeah,
insane.
that was a cool shot. Well, the girl's like springboarding onto the projector with like all the nails and stuff. Like you see it like go through like her eye and like come through like that like bridge on your nose, and you're just like, oh my god, like you know, like the brain is still active for a few seconds. You know,
How long
after-
did it really take him to set up all those traps, though?
Really, yeah. Because they've been through hell when
Like, he
the
sneak
burglar
Macaulay
gets
Culkin
there.
in and,
so
like,
it's
you
been
know.
going on a while. And it's only midnight. So it's like, it hasn't even been dark that long. But it's been, I guess, dark enough long enough.
And he got there what, like 10:45 or something? Because he's doing something. He's like a little over.
He gets there and it's like, yeah, like 10:45, 10:50.
Right.
And things are bad at the house.
And he's got to be done by midnight.
And the killer has stepped out. So this must happen like right when he left after a hard day's work. Like the killer just must have never left the property. Just got dressed and went in and was like, torture time. Where you guys at? Let's do this.
Yeah, because they
Get the old
Well,
daughter
the
out of
family
here.
was packing up.
yeah, because they were going to
As
go on
Arkin was
vacation,
leaving.
and then he was leaving, but the exterminator guy, the collector, was still there.
Like
And he was
You
like,
just
posing-
spoiled it, Derek. Now they all know it was the exterminator. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, damn.
We said spoiler.
No, but even still, like he's like, I think he was like one of the last guys. He was just like walking around the house, and they just
yeah,
completely oblivious.
the
to
main
it.
guy was like,
What do
hey,
you think
there's-
about the irony of him being an exterminator and then saving the spider?
I thought, well,
I-
since the guy's so weird and he collects things, anyways, it doesn't shock me too much that he apparently doesn't have a problem with bugs. Not really. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Probably
he
let
doesn't-
those hornets live too in the back.
He's like, yeah, I took care of your hornet problem.
That was like a serious hornet's nest, by the way. Like first off, I would have never have gone back there. Now without a full mask, gear,
and he's just like
Flamethrower.
smoking a cigarette, blowing it in the little wasp face. I was like, nope. I'd have been the first one. I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I took care of that problem. I'm gonna get out of here real quick.
Yeah, because
I'm
it's
gonna go
not,
get
it's
my
not
gun.
exactly the same as a bee. Like you can put a honeybee, to sleep with smoke.
I think he just kind of like
You,
it's
Just
kind of
needed
like
to irritate them.
Yeah. Oh, what? I'm out of here.
It looked like
yeah,
it
but a
doesn't smell
wasp,
as
yeah,
good no more.
but a wasp, wasp could be.
Or I'm
I'd hate to get stung
buzzing.
with those things.
Oh.
Because he's a bee.
This was a really well thought out movie. Like you obviously take into account like, yeah, how long did it take you to set up like 50 bear traps, all that razor wire, you know,
Outside and inside.
Like you have like
Like,
this weird
holy
acid
shit.
thingy all over the floor. Does it say where the little girl was hiding?
How does
So
he
she's
get
like,
the guy
"Where
in
were
the
you?"
trunk around? Like that's a heavy trunk.
He just
got a
drags
human
it
in it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like how does he get it around?
And then when he goes to like pull the human out, you know, you're kind of like, oh, he's gonna take it with him. And then you see it, he's like bolted through the feet. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
oh my gosh.
God.
That hurt watching that.
Oh. And he's just like, no, I'm sorry. I can't get you out of here. I'm sorry. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know? Man. Really, really cringy. You know, you're just like, man.
but I do have
That-
to say though, like that suitcase thing, it was. I thought that was a nice little deal they threw in there because I was like,
Definitely.
dude, that's terrifying. Like,
That's why Collector has the best ending out of all the movies we watched, for sure.
did you ever-
Oh, yeah, he takes the guy. He had the vision that he was like taking the girl, but it was like the cop. Yeah, he like wrecks the paramedic car.
Yeah. And then grabs the dude, throws him in the box, shuts it, and slams the doors closed. It's one of the best horror movie endings I think I've ever seen.
there's an after credit scene.
I didn't get to that.
He's watching like some film, I guess I'm assuming of him taking that he took from victims, I guess, or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But he's sitting there watching, he's like sitting on the thing, and I guess Josh Stewart's just like going nuts. He's like belligerent, just like screaming, I'm gonna kill you when I get here, and he just like kicks the box, shut up, you know. It's like, I'm watching a movie, shut up. He's just sitting on it. And it's just like, is that what he does? He just takes him back home and sits on the fucking box and leaves him in there until like the next setup, the next house. And I never saw the collection, and I'm assuming that's where
You haven't seen the sequel?
haven't seen a sequel.
Ooh.
So
I
is
like
that what
it.
happens? Does he?
It's
he's
good,
still
but
in the
it's
box
at
at the start.
They wasn't like a club or something that he trapped, like a dance club or something, or
It starts out as like a
Like Saw 2, I liked the collection because it had more people involved.
Yeah, definitely had more going on in the collection.
I from
to see
previews
more
and
of the,
stuff that I
like,
got to
ingenuity.
see. I remember, yeah, it's like
Somehow-
they're in a
Didn't they
club
like,
that,
or was
and
it
they
like
all
at his
go
home
in.
base or something?
It was like a warehouse that I think was part club, part
Like
maybe
he
not.
owns like the
part
upper
like meth zone,
floors. Yeah, now I'm
Like
it's been a
part
while since I've seen it.
independent.
I haven't seen the second one
I think this one is definitely better.
I think so as well.
Unlike The Purge, where you think number 2 is better because you get out and kind of explore it a little bit. This one,
I feel like it was better as an isolated
Yeah,
incident.
I agree. The traps were awesome. The kills were definitely awesome. This had a very Saw-like feel to it. Like very
Very torture.
torture-y.
Very dirty.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, and what was? I'm assuming he does kind of the same thing at every house. Like at the end of this one, he like kind of rigs it to blow, and I'm assuming that's just because like he's like caught at that point. Like the burglar's doing his deal, like kind of messing up his whole plan. What does he do? Like, does nobody ever know that other people are missing? Like, it just kind of made me wonder because he blows up the house or sets it on fire or something like that, right? And the collector.
blows
Do you think
Yeah.
they would notice that like every time this exterminator works on a job, the house blows up?
Well, they
or,
say
or
something
or
like...
the people disappear. Or some
but I'm sure he
shit.
does a
But-
lot
hey,
of
we've-
jobs where that
Well,
doesn't.
he probably
happen.
doesn't have many survivors
You know what? That's
either.
probably not his job because you see him rip off
The sticker.
the sticker at the end. He probably just puts a different decal on and does a different job every time.
One of the cops
that's
says
true.
something like, hey, something extermination, we have an address downtown. Or something. One of them says, we have an address for this extermination place downtown. I don't know if it's the same one that like alludes to the second one, like, oh, this is where they're going to go.
I don't know.
But also, again, like, the house would blow up, burn, whatever, but you're like walking through the rubble and you're like, okay, bear trap, bear trap, bear trap, bear trap. Guy in a bear trap. Covered with bear. There's the other 50 bear traps on this dead body here. This
like-
girl is staked to the projector screen. That's
There's
a shame.
half a cat. There's the other half of the cat.
Yeah. Half the cat's in this house, half the cat is not.
Outside, yeah, on
Yeah.
the outside, just sitting
That
There's
there.
cat
this
part
room
might
with-
have been the most cringy part of the whole thing.
Well, he like
oh my god,
he
he like
he
peels
like
it.
peels it up and then like tries to get it out. And once it started peeling, I'd been like, "You're on your own, cat. Not dealing with you." And then he gets out
Well, didn't he?
and he
want-
looks back, and I know it's a movie, right? They always look back. Dude, if I got out, I wouldn't have been looking back. But he was able to see the girl and save her, so I can't knock it for that. Like you obviously got to.
At what
if you
cost,
s-
though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we know. Spoilers. He lives. Okay.
Yeah.
At least we know that. Like I said, if you'd have seen the girl, something happened to her, it's almost like, oh man, like
Could
it
he
was
not?
down-
Could he? He had the diamond or the
ruby.
Ruby.
by
I don't know.
that
It
point.
didn't look.
it was like, I found the stone. Sorcerer's
yes,
He
stone.
had the sorcerer's stone by that point. Could he not have just like escaped and then like anonymously called the cops and like sent them to that place? And even though you risk the girl may not have lived, obviously, but it's like the guy.
I tried to find
It would
you.
have been a surprise to the burglar, and he did try to find the girl, and he even asked her like what were you like?
Where
what were
the
you?
hell were you? I
Yeah,
was trying to
to
find
which
you.
she doesn't ever answer or reply. But no, I definitely think like once he got out, it's like why'd you look back?
Yeah, I was like,
now that's on your
I would
conscience.
not have been looking.
I
back.
liked.
He was almost confident the girl wasn't in the house.
I really liked the plan where they were going to push over the fish tank and then the TV at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously got thwarted, but
Then use the human battering ram,
yeah.
and then the human like door
We
opener.
were
with
watching
his
that.
skull.
Justin's like, he should start using that little girl as a battering ram.
I like that part. I liked it that the guy used the body as a battering ram.
Yeah.
I feel like the water would have gone out the door a little bit, and maybe
There's only so much water in a fish tank. The room's so big, we could do the math.
That guy soaked it up so much. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just really don't like when I don't agree with you.
you
huh?
just you're just raining on me here, dude. Every time I'm like, I'd have done this, you're like, well, there was this other unforeseeable thing that happened to this guy that probably would have happened to you too, Chris, because you're not that guy.
Yeah.
The guy was like a master like lock picker. Oh, I liked how the guy when he goes back out the door, he sees like these 4 like locks, and it's like a silent like what the fuck, like this wasn't here earlier. What are these things? And the guy has like this
Master key.
little master key thing.
But it was like a circular key, so obviously his lockpick wouldn't work on all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. I mean, he didn't even try it.
Yeah.
And instantly the girl comes home and they start looking like they're gonna have sex, and you're like, you're gonna die. Number
Yeah.
one horror movie rule: you're gonna die. You and your boyfriend are gonna get it in the most gruesome ways. And she had like barbed wire. I didn't notice until this time. She was like tied up with barbed wire.
Yeah.
Like I just thought it was like rope or something. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
Why are you doing this to
at least they don't
us?
have Adam's apples. We've
Bitch,
been like,
if I was doing this to you, why would I be setting you free right now?
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
was torturing the parents down in the basement, right? The killer?
Yeah,
Oh, that
because
was kind of-
the husband, dad, owner of the house, he got like real mangled.
was the wife dead when he sewed her lips shut? Because it looked like she was
still
still
alive.
breathing.
She died after that happened.
Okay.
She died after.
And he
she-
recorded her screaming, and he just played that.
Played it on like repeat.
Yeah.
I like that he was using like that medieval trick of like cutting their stomach and then holding
The roaches or
they were
whatever.
like giant roaches or something. In medieval times, I think they did it with like rats.
Yeah.
You know,
So
but
they,
then, like,
they want to eat their way out.
burn it. Yeah, I was
Didn't
like,
they do that on
ooh.
like Gone in 60 Seconds too?
Yeah, well, they use it.
A rat.
The main guy uses it. No, actually, it was either Gone in 60 Seconds or Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, it was a car movie for sure.
I think it was Too Fast, Too Furious. The main guy, the main mob guy, I guess, he ends up like putting a bucket up to the dude, puts a mouse in there or
Yeah.
a rat or whatever. Mouse.
Starts,
and he
like,
like,
heating
and
it
he
up.
hits it with like a blowtorch and then like starts scraping, attacking, biting the guy, and then he's like freaking out, and
They
he's
do
like,
it
all
in
right,
Game
I'll
of
do
Thrones.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, they do it. Yeah, like real
So
shit.
medieval. You know, like, oh man.
He went medieval on their ass.
Yeah, he did. I mean, this guy had
couple torches.
so much stuff rigged. Like, dude, you could use that razor wire on like every door. You know, like, no need for these crazy elaborate traps. You could have just set that up, and unless lightning strikes, when that's the only time you see it.
I was gonna say, look at Josh Stewart. Like we were saying earlier, he would just round the corner and he would fucking run into a trap. Like this dude had traps on corners, around corners.
Yeah,
like,
traps
it was,
on traps on traps.
Yeah, it was almost like, dude, even
It was
if
a
you
trap
got through the
house.
first one, how the fuck are you gonna get through the rest of it?
Literally, it was like basement
ridiculous.
door, through the kitchen, hallway, up the stairs.
That one main staircase though had no traps.
Yeah.
The creaky staircase.
How
Maybe
did
that's why.
did the killer not know the little girl was hiding somewhere, or he just couldn't find her as well?
I don't think he
I
could
don't
find her.
think he.
So I'm
could
saying, she
find
wonder
her.
like, where were you hiding?
And why
Like,
did you get out of it?
How'd you get
the
out?
laundry
Yeah.
chute was a good idea though. Like
Yeah.
houses, a lot of houses I feel like don't have that no more.
It's always there in a horror movie. But
Yeah.
But
It
it's
is-
a rich.
it's-
It's a rich family though. They got a big house.
Tyler, you are just.
Why am I not allowed to play devil's
Here I
advocate?
am over here, like, yeah, I don't think many
Can
houses
you have
have
better
that.
opinions next time? Thanks.
I don't know. I think it's a little cliche, but it also works for them able to get from like basement to second floor.
Yeah. It was a
And he
good
was able to
plot
like
device.
shimmy up there, pull this girl up no problem. Conveniently, when the dog's not going to get it, the trash can and like throwing it on the dog's
was
face.
awesome.
That was cool. I'm a dog guy. I was a little hurt by that, but that was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good effect. That was good.
That was the dog's fault.
Doesn't a dog kill a cop too? Like,
Yeah.
How do you get?
Well,
out
it attacks
with-
the cop.
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't know if it was the family's dog or the killer's dog at first. When it almost gets like Josh Stewart.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, the family left their dog outside, and that's kind of mean.
Either way, I think the cop would have radioed it in before just going on a solo trip.
If he saw the body in there, especially being like, bunch of gruesome shit happening here. I'm gonna take this by myself. No
Like-
need for backup.
You're like, there's fucking bear traps everywhere. There's somebody stuck in one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get some help. Like,
Instead,
yeah,
he's
you
like,
would definitely call for backup like immediately. If you
You-
saw that shit.
Do you think the cop should have shot the guy? Maybe not on site. I don't want to put it like that way. You know, like
He had a knife, so if it were 2016, yeah.
See, I agree too. That's where I thought Tyler probably didn't think this, but that's where I thought when the guy like walks up behind a tree, knives, mask. You're like the definition of
That's
like
that's all you
rapist,
need
serial
now,
killer.
yeah.
Well,
the cop would
actually-
have been like freeze, and upon the first 3 times not freezing, I'd have been like
He'd have been shot.
cap, cap, cap. You know, at least
Kneecap him.
thank you, Tyler, for
I got
agreeing
one
with
good
me on
opinion.
there.
I got one thing right.
I just feel like he would have done something other than just get eaten. And why didn't he just shoot the dog? Oh,
Yeah.
the guy he throwing knifed him, like he did
No,
everyone else.
the dog just kind of
Like mutilated him real quick.
like Michael Myers out of nowhere and just showed up and like ate him, ate his throat or whatever.
Oh, I did go for
Michael.
It didn't
Myers.
have the like chain sound like running. It just like he looked and he was
this
there.
dog like ghosted out of nowhere here. He was like
Yeah.
Danny Phantomed right there. I don't know. Overall, a good movie. I don't have that many problems with it. Like I said, I think my biggest issue is where was that little girl hiding? Like, and under this desk that her and Josh Stewart hide under is like pitch black. Like,
It is a very deep desk. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that too.
like 6 feet deep. The killer can't see under there. Didn't think to look there.
Use a flashlight, something like.
Well, it's because that mask blocks his periffs.
He's like a shark, can only like look forward.
Isn't there something, I wouldn't say weird with his eyes, but they shine or something?
Yeah, they look weird. They almost look like dude's eyes in Don't Breathe.
Really?
Like, they almost look
I always
glassy
thought they
like
looked
that.
a little more like kind of like Riddick, where they kind of like where he kind of can see
They
in the
got
dark,
like
kind
a
of
sheen
almost.
to 'em.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Either way, it's creepy as
But
hell.
even still, yeah, fucked up eyes.
I really liked his mask.
His mask was just
Like
was
I
really
can't
creepy.
like, how'd you do that? I want that mask, but not for those reasons. Obviously,
Don't
I
kill
don't
me.
want to. I'm gonna go put someone in like a little torture chamber down there.
Start your own collection.
Yeah,
You're just like, sorry, got to do this.
all my friends' houses that I scope out. I'm gonna be a handyman and just do what this guy did. It was a bit ruby, right? That he was after, like some giant,
Some kind of ruby.
Yeah, he was
like the sorcerer's stone.
Whatever it was worth was enough that apparently he was going to get a cash out that night. So it must not have been worth like, give me millions of dollars unless he's got millions of dollars in cash. All right, that dude at the club was going to pay him out that night, right? By midnight?
40%.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It must not have been like too incredible of a haul. But
and he still had it on him when he was in the ambulance because he like feels it and he's like, oh,
he gets,
shit.
he gets trapped with it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
It's
good for
collected
him.
with it.
And if
still has it,
if
but-
you're a loan shark and the money's not there by the time the guy says it's going to be there, because he was like, "Oh, you got a pretty little wife and a daughter or something," so you got to think like, "Oh man, not only am I in deep shit, they're going to be in deep shit," because he said the loan shark would follow them. You know, he'll find you. But I guess that was probably the least of his worries. He's probably worried about his own life more.
I don't know, like that whole when horror movies do that, I always think that's kind of a unique, like little twist. Like you bring up his personal problem, like his wife's being hassled by loan sharks, and he's trying to save his daughter's life and all that stuff, just trying to make everything right. And then he's in on this mission, and he gets caught up in such a fucked up thing that he is stuck with a choice. Either save the girl or don't save her. So he saves her because she probably reminds him of his daughter. So he saves the girl. But you're still left with the question and maybe possible answer, like what happened to like his daughter and his wife? Did they just get killed?
I don't think there's any possible answer.
Yeah,
at
like
all.
it's just like you're just left not knowing. It's just like, oh man, that's like what's worse, like what happened to him or what happened to his family? It's always been kind of a cool thing. I've always thought was kind of interesting.
Why I don't think you ever get an answer for that because I don't think they talk
No.
about it in the sequel either.
I'm sure
if
they
I
don't.
remember right.
I don't think so.
But it's just I don't know. I always thought it was kind of a cool concept that they threw in there. It's like you want to feel for this guy. But even though he's doing wrong, you want to feel for him. Then he gets caught up in some real shit, and you're like, oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
you want to like the bad guy, but
Yeah.
he's not a bad guy.
yeah,
right?
He does bad things, but he's not a bad person.
He's
I
got
guess.
good intention. He's definitely not there to kill anyone.
Well, yeah, he ain't
Not
exactly.
there to rape and torture and do all these other crazy things. He just got his family motives.
Like he stopped time, literally to save a cat. What does that say? I mean,
He did try to save the cat, so I
yeah.
guess
He's like, God damn it, shut up.
inside.
What are the chances he'd be there the same night the robbery's going down?
See, and that was
Because he's not there to rob.
They're going to be gone for like a few days.
Well, then you want to do it the first day, just in case they come back early.
I mean, what I'm going along with what Nick said here.
I guess. I mean, it sounds like he had a wide open window. The dude was there before they even left that night. He was so excited, had it all done by midnight. Just kind of, the odds were against them, and like that. How unlucky do you get to be like on a super easy job? He was halfway done with it before he got interrupted, and then just like that, it turns into the worst night of your life.
I like that none of the other family he runs into asks what he's doing there.
They do.
Well, I mean, he does.
the daughter does, I think.
The dad does.
He's like, what? Why are you here?
Why are you doing this?
What'd he say?
He didn't.
Like, hey, shut up! I'm just here to help you.
The
Like,
thief walked in at that.
He's
or
like,
the
he's like,
killer walked in.
shut up!
okay.
Shh, I'm trying to help you. Yeah,
I don't know,
something like that.
Like, even if he got away, right when he could have got away, because he had the chance, he fully could have got away. If he'd have gone, called the cops or whatever, they'd be like, "What were you doing there?" Oh, that's a good question. I was.
He could have just fibbed in
I was coming back to make sure those bars on the window worked.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
He could have talked.
Well, they worked so well the family couldn't get out. So
And after what was going on, that would have been the least.
And
of
he
their
saved the
concerns.
daughter, so it's like
he's like, "Hey, I wasn't even here. If you get a third of this, right? You just got to go talk to this crime boss downtown, this loan shark." So I don't know.
What's your rating?
Collector, I'm probably gonna give him like a 7.5 or an 8. I don't know.
Which is it though? Just one.
Oh, okay. Pick one. If I have to just have
We
one
want
choice.
we want specifics.
I'm gonna give it an 8. Tyler, is that too low for you? Or are you gonna?
No, I think.
Are you gonna come up here and jump?
I think
me
you're
for
too
this?
Well,
high for
I'm gonna go 7.
Tyler, guys, where you? How come you're not jumping them?
What I tell you about your opinions, man?
Yeah.
I said have better
Opinions.
ones.
Guess I gotta keep them to myself. Huh?
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
Same. I'm going to give it as 8.
Do you think this was better than the Saw movies?
No.
Well, hold
Okay,
on.
after,
there's only like so
After a
many you
certain
can
point
kinda
of the
compare.
Saw movies?
Yes.
It was definitely a more interesting take. I definitely feel like it's kind of more along the lines of like maybe the second film. Like to me, they're almost kind of on par. You get like this building, people are in it, they're going through traps. To me, I think I liked Saw more.
I think it's
But-
closer to Home Alone.
A twisted version of Home Alone.
Oh God!
But
Like
yeah.
he's like, "Come on, wet bandits, come in. Let me
The
see."
thieves go in and
Yeah.
the people, yeah.
The movies where they're like trapped in the environment. But there's that movie Devil, right, where the main guy is like trapped in the elevator and all that stuff's happening. I guess this kind of fits in there. That's not too bad. You watched Buried with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
The whole movie takes place inside the coffin.
well,
or inside
yeah,
the
most
box?
of it at least. There's obviously a few clips of people.
Right. But your
Like
main
he's got
guy
a cell
is-
phone somehow. I didn't like it that much. It was okay.
I don't know if
Boring.
Ryan Reynolds is one man leading movie material.
Yeah.
But Derek, you gave this one an 8 as well.
Yes, an 8.
Nick, did you go?
Yeah. We
Okay.
give it an 8.
So overall, I think we had 3 solid movies this week for our, trapped in a horror location movie genre.
Location.
Right. Yeah. You know what? Whatever.
Trapped in a house.
Trapped.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Trapped in the Closet, R. Kelly. Overall, I think they were all done very well. They each had their own little things going for them. Really good movies. Sinners, if you haven't seen them, go see them. Don't Breathe is apparently awesome.
Yeah, I liked it.
They all agree. Even Cinamen Tyler here, who has been just negative all day.
I've been super positive.
You've
been negative.
No,
I've been negative to your
You've been dumping
negativity.
haterade all over me, man. You're just like drowning me in it. I don't know. We're gonna see you on our next horror podcast, whenever that is.
Blair Witch. I think.
Blair Witch. Okay, if we do that, Tyler, we're gonna come back to this.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Sinners, don't be a dick.
Sport podcast.
Boy.